যদি সবাই ফিরে যায়, ওরে ওরে ও ভাগা সবাই ফিরে যায়, যদি গহন পথে যাওয়ার কালে কেউ ফিরে না যায়, তবে পথের কাটা তুই রক্ত মাখা চরণ তলে একলা দলরে, তুই রক্ত মাখা চরণ তলে একলা দলরে, যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে। যদি আলো না ধরে, ওরে ওরে ও ভাগা আলো না ধরে, যদি ঝড় বাদলে আধার রাতে দুয়ার দেয় ঘরে, তবে বজ্রানলে আপন বুকের পাঁজর জ্বালিয়ে নিয়ে একলা চলো রে, আপন বুকের পাঁজর জ্বালিয়ে নিয়ে একলা চলো রে, যদি তোর ডাক শুনে কেউ না আসে তবে একলা চলো রে। একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো, একলা চলো রে।
Hi guys, thank you for joining the live stream. Oh, my camera angle is not right, isn't it? Thanks guys. I thought I didn't want to take up this issue. Thought everyone's discussing this anyway vehemently. Everyone has some opinion. Why do I need to? And some of my viewers kept pestering me. I thought, yeah, just because some viewers are pestering me doesn't mean I have to talk on this issue, because mainly our channel is not a current affairs discussion topic at all, right? I've never tried to do that. I've never done that. Maybe only occasionally for the biggest of things, and except in the last few months because of Bengal every day, and since the results of Bengal elections, something insane kept happening. It was just a lot of fun to discuss. On this one, I felt like I was feeling a strange satisfaction that everything is falling into place perfectly. Whatever is supposed to happen is happening. Therefore, I kind of felt a very nice peace and calm about it. That's why I was not commenting on it, and that's why I'm not very bothered about it to comment on it enough. All I'm trying to do today is, guys, let me tell you a secret, by the way. Let's take a digression. Whenever you see any podcast guest or podcast host fidget like this, keep setting some things in the correct spot, keep moving things around. They're not doing that's because something is actually in a wrong spot in front of them. Okay, they're doing it because they're distracted and they want to be distracted. They are not very comfortable and able public speakers or even in front of the camera. So it's a way for their mind to help them cope and help them distract themselves by doing something else. Okay, you'll see many people do this. Many of my guests do it, because I used to. It's only decreased in me only in recent times. Today I'm not doing that for that purpose. Actually, there's a lot of bullshit in front of me. Okay, anyway, so here everyone's, I think, doing whatever they should be doing. A wrong thing happened in the country. You are raising your voice against it, and you go towards the parliament to protest. You'll get beaten up. That's what has happened. And what else was supposed to happen? Which aspect of this scenario is out of the ordinary or should not have happened? Yes, the paper leak should not have happened. Then protest should not have happened. People should not have spoken out. And if you go to the parliament to protest, you should not have been beaten up. Which aspect is out of the ordinary? Which aspect should not have happened? What is the point of this over fucking reaction? That's my first qualm and first almost amazement and wonderment, that why is everyone so invested and involved in this? I mean, as a patriot, as a person who cares deeply about the nation's issues, those kinds of people, yeah, I get it if they are very passionate. People who are going to prepare, people who have prepared for NEET, their parents, 1.4 billion people are all of a sudden patriotically inclined to discuss this one issue. Yeah, this is the most important issue. No matter how significant this issue, this is not the most fucking important issue. It will never be. Even if this was the most important issue, have similar things happened in the country, in the state, in elsewhere or not? Okay, Those things are the main context. But why are people so invested? Not everybody who is invested in this passionately, or even I'm talking not talking about deep state stuff. Okay? I'm talking about people genuinely who are passionate in this and feeling like no, this stuff is really make or break. Now I must raise my voice, otherwise my kids' future, etc. All of those people are also in some ways intellectually not honest enough in this conversation. That is the second reason I have not spoken on this topic, because for the people whom it is absolutely a legitimate grievance, for them, what is the point of you as a social media influencer, even if you have just 17,000 fucking subscribers? Why will you take an extra effort on a day, on an evening, sit for a live stream for 2 hours and demean their anger and movement and stuff? And if you say that, of course you can do that without demeaning their anger and without disrespecting them, etc. It's not going to come across as like that in the end, right? It's all ultimately going to be optics. No one has, I think, ever listened to my 4-hour long podcast. I mean, I'm very glad that some of you all do, but most people aren't. So in the end, it's going to be, okay, here's another YouTuber who's against the protest, or here's another YouTuber who's for the protests. That's going to be it. So I'm not going to take a side in which people think I have no sympathy for the people who are going to have to sit in the exams once again. Nor am I going to sit and defend or criticize the police for beating anybody up and preventing people from getting into the parliament. Nor am I, or should any of you, defend anybody, any organization who have the money and resources to defend themselves. Please remember that. I have a big problem against those bhalokaku karyakartas of any political party, every political party who exist, on whose shoulders Indian political parties survive, because those deeply honest, incorruptible, naive, innocent karyakartas of every political party do a bunch of free service for their neighborhood almost all their lives, out of the goodness of their heart, or the belief, or because of a belief in their party's ideology, or because of a belief in their political party's founder or leader. Okay, if all those bhalokakus in every political party sat down in their homes, if they did not do their work, no politician, no bureaucracy, this country would not have survived. This country survives on the fucking free service of those countless men and women for their entire lives that they do. Okay. Now, in that scenario, do you want to be that way when you are not even considered the karyakarta for that party? Why will you defend BJP or CJP? Let's say CJP is an organic, unfunded, out of the blue happened protest. So if you defend CJP, you're not really defending somebody who has the money to defend themselves, etc. But I'm talking about the BJP supporters in this context. Why would you? If you say you are defending the government, even then, doesn't the government have spokespersons? Doesn't the BJP have spokespersons? You all are supposed to only and only stand for your ideology, believe in your ideology, spend your time and resources in your ideology, and people who genuinely need your help, people who do not have any option other than your help, like me, like you all have helped me since I got attacked by Trinamool. You all have crowdfunded my lawyer's fees. You all have supported my Kalbhaira Vashtakam video production projects. Because I am not BJP. Why will you defend BJP? IT सेल किस लिए है? बीजेपी स्पोक्सपर्सन किस लिए है? गवर्नमेंट स्पोक्सपर्सन किस लिए है? प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस मोदी जी को नहीं देना है तो उसका ठेका तुम क्यों लोग उठाओगे? सिर्फ और सिर्फ देखो इसमें नेशनल सिक्योरिटी, तुम्हारे जो पर्सनल राइट विंग नेशनलिज्म के जो आइडियोलॉजीज है, फ्री मार्केट कैपिटलिज्म जो भी हो इसमें, या फिर बहुत इंटीग्रल ह्यूमनिज्म, वो सब में तुम्हारा आइडियोलॉजी का कोई गलत रिप्रेजेंटेशन हो रहा है क्या यहाँ पे? उसको डिफेंड करो और बाकी सब छोड़ दो. ओके, द थर्ड रीजन आई एम नॉट interested in this circus. I am not going to take any Bengali protesting against CJP seriously. Mainly those Bengalis who have not spoken out against Trinamool, and the non-Bengalis who are from this state or whose families are still in this state, who have never spoken out against Trinamool, understandably so, because the gundas would have shown up at their doorsteps. You have not spoken out against Trinamool for all these years, but now you are against the central government. I have no time for you. You're fundamentally not human. You are an insect. You're a fucking coward who doesn't deserve to die or go to jail or sent out of the country, etc. You will be a irrelevant human being in this discourse forever and after. And you're a pawn. You'll get some FIRs now. Your career will probably get ruined. If not, you'll have to now beg in front of a bunch of politicians. Go do that. Or maybe you'll have a nice, successful life somehow. And you'll have a nice, married, hopefully stable family life, etc. And you'll crib about government and politicians every now and then, sitting with your newspaper on your terrace. Go do that, fucker. You don't have any other contribution in this country. Go pay your taxes. We are happy. Stay in your lane. We don't want anything else from you. And I have a lot of grievance from, in general, non-Bengalis from other states as well who are participating in this protest, who also have not spoken out ever against Trinamool's atrocities in West Bengal because they were not being organic Indian normal citizens back then. They were being Rahul Gandhi supporters, Samajwadi Party supporters, CPIM supporters, and for those reasons they believed BJP is the worst evil, TMC is the lesser evil, so let's shut up about it, or let's not criticize TMC that hard. Or like 2 months before the West Bengal elections, each and every commie I knew out of the blue started pretending like BJP has been in power in Bengal for 15 years. And they started opposing BJP as if BJP is right, as if like as if they are going to vote against BJP in the coming elections because BJP is the power. Their anti-incumbency was against BJP in West Bengal. That kind of, this is 2026. You can't fool people with that anymore. That's not happening. So why am I then pissed off with this? Just because TMC was an asshole for 15 years, does that mean the paper leaks are justified? No. My point is, you are only protesting here. See, my main submission, based on results of which are these 3 reasons for which I was not commenting on it anyway, is that this is simply not a big enough issue. There is data to prove that. Not enough people are bothered about it, which shows not enough people give a shit about it. For people whom it actually matters, it matters a whole lot. That I will admit. But for a large chunk of the country, it does not matter all that much. And there are many fucking important issues to many people which are not national priorities. Like, I believe fake sports that nobody watches should not be supported by the government. MMA should be the sport that everybody plays and people win medals and stuff. And also you should not get government jobs because of playing MMA, etc. Or if you are in the police, army, or RSS Durga Bhai, etc., never in your life should you learn Hayya. You should only learn MMA, etc. And I think without that, you are putting yourself in danger every day. Who gives a shit? Most people in the country can't spell the full form of MMA, obviously. So I should go to Jantar Mantar now, right? And pretend like the world is coming to an end because my personal demand is not getting fulfilled. I'm sure I can gather 100 people, 2,000 people. Go to any Facebook MMA page. Let's just have them at Jantar Mantar. It will seem like a gigantic fucking protest. It's not a gigantic fucking protest. More claims to, more examples to support this claim. If it was in fact a gigantic protest, then there would be much show in other states. Not everybody has the time or resources to go to Delhi and protest. Okay, then you might say the government has scared them off enough, therefore not enough people are protesting. Only people who are protesting, who are brave enough against the central government. Okay, that is my fundamental issue. So let us not even go into gauging the importance of a particular issue based on how many people show up at it. Okay, because there are degrees of how much a government allows things to happen. Then only let's discuss how much which government allows what protest to happen. And there, people who could not, who had legitimate grievances against Trinamool themselves, who could not protest against Trinamool for 15 years for countless such NEET equivalent or way more important issues, just because they knew legitimately that it cannot be done. Trinamool is not going to allow it. You are not going to be able to live in your neighborhood, nor are your parents. And if I have to bring women into everything, yes, your mother and sister will also be in a lot of under dire consequences, they might also have to leave, or you'll have to apologize or withdraw, etc. So here you are protesting only because BJP is allowing you to. And that is what I had predicted since 4th May and even before 4th May, that BJP is more or less Buddhadev Bhattacharya plus cow. And on some things, they are better than Buddhadev Bhattacharya. On some things, they are worse than Buddhadev Bhattacharya. And what BJP's funda, it seems to me, in regards to handling protests, is we will only bother about the biggest fish. Let every other fish roam about, okay? So below Umar Khalid, it would seem, holy shit, such a libertarian society. Protests are going on, nobody's even bothered, no one's addressing it. Okay, now Parliament, all of a sudden, it's a gigantic shark that comes and swallows you. For Trinamool, it was like, biggest fish? We will catch big fish, small fish, the whole fucking water, the soil underneath. We will take all of that and sell it to Bangladesh. So, if you are allowed to protest, if you are not behind the bars already or are seemingly going to come out within the next few weeks, you are not a big fish. You are allowed to play in the water up until this point. If you go bigger than here, that's when BJP reacts. Trinamool used to react for everything. So, are you really passionate about the issue? Does the issue really affect you? Or are you just more courageous right now? Because BJP allows you to be courageous. Unless you answer that question to yourself and to me, let's not have this discussion. And the fourth reason I thought there was no point to me discussing this from a live stream is that most of my viewers will probably be against the protest. And this discussion needs to be only and only between people who disagree. Otherwise, what's the point? It's just tolerance to anarchy. The graph is linear and very low. Then soon it goes exponentially high. Yeah. I have some more points. I'll just take a break and have a few sips of coffee. TMC ruled the same time period like BJP and both have a large bad record. So why not criticize BJP as much as TMC? Because TMC was ruling one state, BJP was ruling countless states. Or are you saying the country, I mean, the central government of BJP is as bad as Trinamool? Is it really? Are you saying that? Or are you adding up the, let's say, 10 faults in 10 states of BJP and equating that with one TMC state? So 10 mistakes in a BJP, 10 mistakes in one state by TMC and 10 mistakes in 10 BJP states. Okay, so 10 is equal to 10. Therefore, BJP is equal to Trinamool. Is that the math you are doing? BJP is becoming like CPIM, only concerned about staying power. No, that's the ideology of Trinamool. BJP and CPIM believe that, not CPIM, I mean CPIM minus Buddhadev Bhattacharya, that yeah, staying in power is important. No, BJP is different in another way as well. See, first of all, we have not had a proper CPIM rule. We have had a Jyoti Basu rule and a Buddhadev Bhattacharya rule. That's a bit problematic to begin with. Jyoti Basu rule was status quoist. Don't change too many things. When he did decide to change things in 92-93, he brought in McKinsey to do the surveys. He brought in ICICI Bank. They collaborated with WBIDC. Paramita ma'am, you remember the paper we discussed. They gave out brilliant development plans for West Bengal, which are now kind of, I think, will be dug out, hopefully. I told Mr. Shankar Ghosh that, sir, you all have that nice idea. Why don't you all take it out? He said, okay. You know more than me. We'll look into it. He was being sarcastic, of course. Then Jyoti Basu doesn't do anything. He just hires people to draw up those plans. Buddhadev Bhattacharya takes baby steps towards the plans. But also, let's protests go on, then until it's too late. BJP is not that pro status quo. They are not like, yeah, we'll just come to power somehow for no fucking reason. They do have a lot of plans. On a lot of things, they have no fucking clue. On a lot of things, they have the wrong ideas how to execute it, but it will get executed. On a lot of things, they have the right ideas on how to go about it, etc. But it's not just about staying in power. And Trinamool was just power. And how do you know who is here just to stay in power? Whether they will do everything to stay in power or not. And when I say everything to stay in power, that means not going after the big fish, going after the entire fucking pond that Trinamool used to do. When the protest is done by the opposition, by the way, I need one confirmation from you guys because I don't trust any newspaper house news portal on this. I genuinely trust only you guys on my live chat here because it's an extremely diverse and well-educated and well-meaning group of individuals in my live chat who genuinely have no sides to take in issues which we discuss in our live streams. They do give honest facts and their thoughts. What I'm wondering is it true that the lathi charge began only and only and only when the march began towards the parliament? Or did it in fact begin unprovoked when the students were simply chilling in some other spot? I don't know the geography of Delhi exactly. I don't know how far Jantar Mantar is from the parliament. So I have some confusion on that. The way I am to understand is this, that Jantar Mantar is somewhere and a lot of people are protesting there. They're chilling there. Nobody gives a shit. Police are just there and they are sitting there and singing their songs, etc. One fine morning, after 17 days, they decide, let's go for a walk to parliament. And that's when the lathi charge begins. Is that what happened? If that is exactly what happened, then I have zero problems with the lathi charge. What happened other than lathi charge on both sides, we will discuss that separately. But is that what happened? Only when they were marching towards parliament. Okay, one opinion. Lathi charge began seriously when the protesters broke 4 barricades. Shayuk, was that on the way to the parliament? Lathi charge began once the barricades were broken. Then in some cases it turned wild. Where were those barricades, Shavnik? Was it on the way to the parliament, or was it like there were some barricades around their hanging out spot in Jantar Mantar only, and they just broke them down out of excitement, which was the case? March to parliament. Okay. It did not begin unprovoked, but when it did begin, there were excesses. Yeah, that is what we need to discuss. And that is what a lot of kids are saying. It's unbelievable, obviously, because they are seeing it for the first time. But since it's not happened for the first time, it's not the end of the world. But since it's not happened for the first time, therefore, we need to discuss when the fuck will it stop? The excesses. And on both sides, there were a lot of unjustified, absolutely illegal shit that happened from the student side as well as the police side, which happens every time. And at that point, we say, well, in a moment of excitement and violence and aggression, do you really expect things to go all well? Yes, I expect a policeman to have better training at handling aggression and violence than a dumb fucking kid, and who's a nerd preparing for his medical degree, allegedly. Although we know they are wannabe Maoists. But wannabe Maoists are also not going to have any training at anger management and stuff. So दिल्ली पुलिस का सैलरी इतना घूस, कुछ अच्छे चीजों में काम पे लगवाओ भोसड़ी के. Broke the second barricade on the way to the parliament. Okay, everybody is saying on the way to the parliament. Some guy pepper sprayed on the police. I see, yeah, man, that guy has 1 million followers. And what's hilarious is, what kind of a pepper spray did he use, guys? The police did not even budge. That's not how a pepper spray is supposed to work. I had this pepper spray with me for 4th May if BJP lost. If that's how this pepper spray works, holy shit, I was not. This is a bad pepper spray. The cop just did and then went on to beat him up. Okay, let me just confirm from more people. When did it actually happen, the lathi charge? It was peaceful till the point they got closer to the parliament. Okay, everybody's saying this. I've seen a lot of provocation over the last 10 days made by these so-called students. It's hard for me to believe, hence, that the police charged them unprovoked. No, Neon, those provocations are not considered provocation in the context of police, or in the context of in the eyes of law, because you expect more restraint from the police, which the police usually do show. The problem is, which the police used to not show at one point. The problem that we have seen during the first lathi charges that happened inside JNU, etc., during that Kanhaiya Kumar era, and even this time, is that after the lathi charge is beginning, then the fucking bullies and psychos are all who are in the police force, who have gotten into police force just because they want to commit violence and want to be psychopathic to other people. Those fuckers are also coming to the forefront and in front of cameras. No, y'all have seen what kind of shit they are doing. That shit is not being done just because they were provoked, right? By some purple-haired 20-year-old transgender kid. That is happening because that guy's a fucking psycho. He's an asshole. The barricades were towards the parliament, confirmed by police on ground reports. Even some this stream had it. Okay, guys. Now here's my 2 questions to, again, people supporting the protest, because some even right-wingers have made this argument. On what basis please, honestly, genuine question to anybody who believes this. explain to me exactly why do you believe that even if the kids were marching towards the parliament, they should not have been lathi charged? Okay, I'm not going to be too aggressive about this. Please genuinely explain to me. Or if anybody disagrees with them, please explain to me by steel manning their argument, if you all know it. What can be really the argument of not lathi charging anybody who is marching towards the Indian parliament with a bunch of protesters? Guys, what the fuck is your argument? Please explain to me that. Secondly, if you have not spoken out against Trinamool and you are speaking out against BJP, why that's wrong, I've explained already. Let's get to specifically CPIM fucking supporters. Bros, why do we celebrate or mourn 21st July in West Bengal? It's a martyr day. Martyrdom of whom? Youth Congress workers, 11 of whom were marching towards our secretariat building, where's the chief minister's office. It used to be that writers building. Okay, and they were shot dead. Jyoti Basu was in power. CPIM was in power. The Babu who ordered that firing, allegedly, was Manish Gupta. He is a Trinamool MLA, former Trinamool MLA, who won from the Jadavpur constituency in 2011 by defeating Buddhadev Bhattacharya. So tell me, Trinamool and CPIM supporters, what the fuck are you saying? 21st July, 11 Youth Congress workers were just marching towards the writers' building. And do you know the argument that I just gave, or based on which I'm basically making this or asking this, that how the fuck can you say that you will not be lathi charged if you march towards the parliament with a bunch of protesters? Do you know when I first had this understanding that, yeah, obviously you'll be lathi charged? When I was a far left commie myself. Because since I was a commie already, my high school political science teacher was a Maoist sympathizer, JU, grad, master's, MPhil, PhD, everything, and today sits on a central government funded social science research post. So, and I came from a hard rock metal background. So for me, it was always that feeling, which you are getting from a lot of today's commies probably, that at no cost, at no situation really, is it justified that a policeman beats up a cute student, no matter where the fuck you march. Okay. And a family friend, a very established journalist, who also was a far left and Maoist sympathizer himself, he explained to me, because their Maoism is kind of in their heads, okay? Or like, if push comes to shove, maybe I'll help out, maybe write a pro-Maoist piece every now and then, but they are Maoist sympathizers mentally, okay? In deep down in their hearts, they have a lot of sympathy or romanticism about the Maoist movement, etc. That's the extent of their Maoist love. But since they have to do genuine journalism, and I know journalism has forever been flawed. I know you can say that journalists never spoke out against Modi Chapi, etc. But there are genuine techniques to follow in a newspaper house, right? Now, in that world, you have to work within the framework or the facades of statesmanship. In that world, there is no way, in a world where nationalism, regardless of what you personally believe, in this world today, nationalism is the highest religion and goal and state religion of every country, right? The national constitution is servo fucking padi. That is the case with every country, unless it's a monarchy. Even I guess they must have some guiding statutes. I don't know. I don't know the case of UAE and Saudi Arabia. But the problem is, if collectively as a society we have largely, I mean, even begrudgingly, nonchalantly, or enthusiastically agreed upon that, yes, actually we are a nation state with a constitution, then, the parliament is not on the debate table for anything. The parliament building, the parliament structure, the offices of the parliament, not who sits in the offices, the metaphorical office of all those ministers, that is sacrosanct. That is the garbhagriha of our democracy, of our nation state, of our constitution. That has to be unfuckwithable. If that is up for debate, whether it's unfuckwithable or not, we cannot have a conversation, because then we fundamentally have a disagreement about whether we have a nation state or not, and we have a fundamental disagreement about whether we should have a nation or not, whether we should have a constitution or not, whether we should have a democracy or not. And we can have all these cool, interesting philosophical debates like we genuinely do from our live streams. It's not going to be a serious policy discussion about whether a lathi charge should have happened or not. Those are two very different debate situations, debate platforms. Get that straight. Let me check out some comments now for some confirmations, further confirmations, please. I'm looking for 3 things from you guys. Further confirmations on whether the lathi charge started only and only after they started marching towards the parliament. What are your views, if you all are CPIM and Trinamool supporters, on why you are so vehement against BJP, but you were silent against Trinamool, as well as the 21st July Martyrs Day that was created by CPIM, and the guy who shot, who gave the orders, was made an MLA by Trinamool. Those two party supporters, how are you all so vehemently passionate against BJP? Explain to me that. And explain to me, how are you saying exactly what is your best argument that even if they march towards the parliament, they should not have been lathi charge? Because if they were shot, you would have said that they should have been lathi charge. Now, if they have been lathi charge, you might say they should have been fired water cannons. We know even that was going to be just a pretty sight and nothing more was going to happen. And it was going to be a pretty sight, and exactly this degree of controversy was going to happen. Nothing different was going to come out of it. Let me check out your comments now. ও দাদা, বসে থাকা স্টুডেন্টদেরকে লাঠি চার্জ করা হয়েছে। Okay, now Saptarshi Adhikari is saying that some kids who were randomly sitting in some spot, they were also lathi charge. I have 2 questions. Was this particular lathi charge in Jantar Mantar, in their hangout spot itself, or was he on the way and then sat down somewhere and then was lathi charged? Was he on the way to the parliament as well? Or is it the case that when the lathi charge began, then the lathi charge came and created a ruckus in their sweet little hangout spot as well? Is that what happened? Not all police, but some police did behave very, very wrong. Yes. And Shagnik, do you think they are going to be prosecuted? No, because the government doesn't have to really, first of all, but mainly they are not going to face any consequences is because the side that is opposed to this idiocy of the students is going to justify the behavior of that police by saying, yes, it was a situation of anger and aggression, so what can we really do? They are going to defend genuine psychopathic behavior, which is going to come out again in some other situation, and it might not have this limelight of the entire world. We're not going to know that guy is doing something psychopathic again. Kolkata police is much better at managing crowds than completely wrong. They are exactly the same. They are equally incompetent. That was their hangout site. Okay, so then the lathi charge went and started in the hangout site. Saptarshi, did this particular lathi charge stem from the hangout site, or was it started because the crowd was going towards the parliament and then the lathi charge also came to the hangout site and beat them up? Or did this out of the blue happen and start in the hangout site parallel from the completely going to the parliament issue? That guy does something psychopathic every day. Yeah. Bishti, my name. Yes. That's not the skills of the Kolkata police. That's the directives from the government. Training in ka sab chutiya hi hai. Connaught Place attacked by CJP, so they get lathi charge. Okay, that's one argument. Government should release the surveillance clips as public evidence, I hope. One policeman did beat up a woman and slightly in a molesting way. अरे भाई, रॉड घुसाने का जेस्चर कर रहा था गार्ड में एक महिला का. रॉड नहीं, मतलब उनका डंडा. ऐसा हर वक्त करते हैं. जहां पे लाठीचार्ज होगा तुम देखोगे कोई ना कोई पुलिस कुछ ना कुछ नॉन सुपर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल या फिर कंप्लीटली अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल चुतियापा करता फिर रहा है. Kushal Mehra says that the majority of the crowd is politically affiliated, but that's why it's not a very popular protest in the end. Only around 30% are apolitical. They don't care whether the leadership is right or left. They simply want a platform to vent and they want to see things burn. Most of the protest sympathizers are claiming that police used tear gas first and then it started snowballing. Okay, fair enough. That tear gas, what was the situation like when the tear gas was suddenly shot at them. Were they chilling and hanging out and singing those songs at Jantar Mantar when out of the blue a tear gas shell came and burst in front of their eyes? Or did that also happen when they were on their way to the parliament? That's all the clarification I require. Because if they were going towards the parliament and a tear gas shell came in front of them, then my argument lies the same. Kolkata police is much better now. For the people who are saying Kolkata police, yes, Paramita ma'am. If Trinamool was in power today in Bengal, that same Kolkata police would not manage that same crowd in that same way. You would see the like situations. So yes, it's the particular guy or the Babu or the minister directing that particular day's protests or the instructions for the police there, on whom it depends how much leeway they have been given to be psychopaths. But they are psychopaths and they genuinely do not have training to manage aggression in themselves, especially. A lot of it they have simply developed on the job, okay? हो गया है अभ्यास से, मगर ट्रेनिंग है नहीं. अब बोलोगे यार गरीब देश है, ट्रेनिंग का पैसा कहाँ से आएगा? ठीक है. But the police is very pervert, exactly. Since Jats make most of it, they have. अच्छा भाई caste का है race. I think they let the protest grow for ethanol. Yeah. That conspiracy theory, I absolutely believe that this takes away the discussion completely away from ethanol. So great. तो भाई इथेनॉल का कम्युनिकेशन जस्टिफिकेशन हम निकाल रहे हैं बैठ के. गवर्नमेंट ने क्यों ये किया, हम जस्टिफिकेशन निकाल रहे हैं बैठ के. स्पोक्स पर्सन पैसा खा रहा है पार्टी का, आईटी सेल पैसा खा रहा है. अजीब बात है. After the ruckus started, panic spread and crowds started rushing here and there. Some of them attacked police right. In other places and police hit back. There were multiple points of clashes. So everything started, the ruckus, Shagnik, did it start after people started going towards the parliament? If that is so, then everything else is justified. This lathi charge was separate from parliament march lathi charge. Shaptarshi, okay, then two more questions. That mysterious little lathi charge that you were talking about, was it happening in a place where people did not know that ruckus, etc. was going on elsewhere, lathi charge has already begun elsewhere, or that a march, a portion of their protesters are going towards the parliament, and it was a parallel, peaceful, random, nice hangout that was going on, and out of the blue, lathi charge starts there? Or because of the parliament march, all the other branches of the protesters everywhere else are also now charged up because their bros, comrades have been beaten up there, and everybody starts getting aggressive, and the police also starts getting aggressive. That okay, we are beating people up today, then let's start then. Was it a continuation of things that were triggered by the march to the parliament? Did all these things happen because of the march to parliament or not? এদের এত বাজে কমিউনিকেশন আমরা আর কতদিন ডিবেট করব? এক্স্যাক্টলি, ऑर्गेनिक डिबेट कीबोर्ड आर्मी के ऊपर खड़ा है ये गवर्नमेंट. Training, what about fucking piss poor equipment did we arm our police with? Surely this is also why these protests become so violent. এই ক্ষেত্রে আর অন্য কিছু করা ছিল না. এক্ষেত্রে তুই আর কি করতে পারে? আরো দামি ডান, আরো বেটার মারতি না, আরো ভালো. এত বাড়া দেখলাম টিয়ার গ্যাসের শেল ফাটিয়েছে, সেটাও ডেট ওভার. Ethanol is almost 90% important from USA. UPI 2.0 started E10. Congress is silent. That's why पैसा सभी का वहां से. हाँ भाई अनित, और यही सिचुएशन है कि ये डिफेंस तुम एनोनिमस आदमी बैठ के लाइव चैट में दे रहे हो. ये कॉमन नॉलेज का है नहीं है. ये गवर्नमेंट क्यों कम्युनिकेट नहीं करेगा? छुपाना है क्या कुछ? Arijit tweeted in support of this protesters. Nice. Arijit Singh, right? Acha. I thought Ajit Bharti. Okay. Raftar did something interesting. Raftar went for the protest and someone was out of the blue saying Azadi. He said, "क्या आजादी? 1947 में हो गया आजादी. बाकी यहाँ पे शांत से protest करो." It was a continuation and parallel jhamela. Then that reeks of an escalating, confronting situation, urban warfare situation. Instagram moral high grounding is insufficient. These global leftists see apolitical people as subhumans who do not deserve to keep mere disagreements. Yes, it was a continuation and parallel lathi charge. Okay, yeah. If that parallel lathi charge is completely parallel, i.e. not triggered directly or indirectly at all by the continuation, then it's unjustified. But that would beg the question that why didn't that happen for the first 17 days? Why mysteriously after the main trigger point. So I'm going to blame the trigger point here. I have no problem with the lathi charge. No matter who you are, armed, unarmed, handicapped, not handicapped, buzurg, young, SC, ST, privileged, non-privileged, male ya female, you will not go to the parliament uninvited. I mean that if the police had better protective gear, then they would be less reactive. Acha, acha. Good point, good point. Nyangs have entered. I want to see Kolkata women love batting today at Park Circus earlier. Bhai kya likh diya? Keeping aside the violent parts, what about their demands? The protests continued for 20 days. BJP didn't even recognize them, completely ignored. Yeah. एक तो है कि स्ट्रेटेजी क्या है, वो सब बैठ के कॉन्स्पिरेसी थ्योरी कितना किसका कितना कनेक्शन है भोसड़ी के, उसके ऊपर बेसिस के ऊपर बैठ के हम यहाँ गेस कर रहे हैं, डिफेंड कर रहे हैं कि देखो एक्चुअली इसलिए रिएक्शन नहीं दे रहा है, देखो एक्चुअली इसलिए रिएक्शन दे रहा है, ये हमारा काम नहीं है भोसड़ी के, हमारा एक्चुअली काम है फाका फ्लैट में बैठ के सवर कर समझाना, और हम बीजेपी खराब काम कर रही है या बुरा काम कर रही है यही सिर्फ डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. तो very legitimate point brought out here. What about their demands? The protests continued for 20 days. BJP didn't recognize them. Yes. So I will put on my again pointlessly conspiratorial hat again and get into the weeds. Why didn't they? Did they think they were suave enough to let it go on and then nothing will happen? I guess, look, if I was in their position, I would let these things pan out in exactly the same ways, but I would not be flustered. I hope Amit Shah and Modi are not flustered. I think probably they aren't. But so shouldn't anybody else be, okay? Especially in the top brass of BJP. I'm right now addressing anybody in the top ranks of BJP who is today pissing their pants, but had thought that, yeah, we will let it go on, then distract it, we'll play 4D chess, and then people will forget about it, We are such suave politicians. And now you are afraid, oh shit, खेल हाथ से निकल गया. Then भुगतो भाई. मगर मेरे ख्याल से फेस्टर कर देने के कुछ बेनिफिट्स कभी कभी मिलते हैं. ये बेनिफिट है कि नहीं, that तो we will find out only in the long run. I think whatever happened, it is what was supposed to happen. See, if Modi listened to their demands on the first day, all these things would happen for some other reason. You know why. And especially because that would be a big win on BJP. All of a sudden BJP understands incentive structures, that just because some people protested doesn't mean you let your minister go or you fire your minister. So they were not going to do those things, because on these things they understand incentive structures. On everything else they think freebies help. So what would have actually happened is that, yes, Dharmendra Pradhan would be fired and people would be incentivized and people would ask for other people's resignations on seemingly equally pretty much similar degree of grievances. Then what would you do? Find Nitin Gadkari then for E20? Then you have to fire S. Jaishankar maybe for Pulwama, then fire Amit Shah for Pahalgam Pulwama, then fire Narendra Modi for letting Mamta stay in power, then fire Rahul Gandhi for not having thrown away Modi sooner. तो देख रहे हो ये किसका काम हो रहा है यहाँ पे. तो मेरा ब्लेम बीजेपी के खिलाफ सिर्फ ये है कम्युनिकेशन के मामले में, और या फिर धर्मेंद्र प्रधान क्या कर रहा है वहां पे 5 साल से बैठ के, वो कंप्लेन है, या फिर लीक 2 बार हो गया, उसके बाद कोई स्ट्रॉन्ग स्टेटमेंट क्यों नहीं आया, प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंसेस क्यों नहीं है. बीजेपी नोज अ लॉट ऑफ दिस ग्रीवांस इज सिंपली अगेंस्ट द जुडिशियरी को तुम भोसरी वाले अकेले, तो सेपरेशन ऑफ these आर्म्स ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट है, क्योंकि तुम एक दूसरे को चेक्स एंड बैलेंस कर सको और क्रिटिसाइज कर सको तो क्रिटिसाइज करो. मेन स्ट्रीम नॉलेज बनाओ ये कि द एग्जीक्यूटिव इज नॉट गोइंग टू फेस द गालीज बिकॉज ऑफ द जुडिशियरीज कमेंट्स ऑन कॉकरोचेस और लाइक जर्नलिस्ट एक्सेट्रा. ये सब कम्युनिकेशन, ये सब गाली गलौज, ये सब क्रिटिसिज्म फॉर द जुडिशियरी करने से ये सब हो सकता था. डेली स्ट्रॉन्ग मैसेजेस. सी The problem is Narendra Modi is behaving like a bureaucrat. He has forgotten completely that he's an employee, and that is something Narendra Modi never was. This not doing press conferences thing and not commenting on things until 20 days later, after you've managed 1,500 people, after your Fokatka keyboard army has won you the battle again. This thing is absolutely getting intolerable. Especially because I see the difference in Shubhendu. Maybe Shubhendu will become the same way 30 years later, after staying in public office for 30 years. But Shubhendu, today we see Shubhendu and get this distinction clearly because Mamta was the polar opposite. From day one, Mamta pretended like she was doing everybody a favor by staying alive, by breathing, by becoming the CM, etc. Shubhendu's tone, fucking word choice, sentence construction. He can't do this shit fakely. He doesn't have a PR army helping him out with his statements, guys. Shubhendu genuinely, I think, has it somehow internalized, because of which it comes out from him, who is not he's not a bhadralok. Okay, he's a mafiosul guy. From his sentence construction, word choices, if you ever could go through his random bites here and there, etc., you would notice that guy sees himself as an employee who goes to a random office just like any other office goer and does a particular job for the day. He has his day planned out. He has some fixed projects to complete in a day. That's not how Narendra Modi sees himself. That's just maybe what power does to you. And there might be a whole other reasons. And there might be simply a belief in yourself that you can manage people instead of defeating narratives. All that is creating this problem in the first place. Dada, will you be addressing the possible FCRA angle? Yes. Because of the FCRA bill, if it passes, all the people whose bread and butter is going to stop, all those people want a last damage to this government so that it's not able to pass that bill. So they definitely have a skin in the game and the stake in this game. Okay, now we need to discuss Rajashi Nandi. Manipur is still buried under 6 feet. Yes. And Manmohan Singh 117 press conference করে ওর সোনিয়ার লেখা স্ক্রিপ্টটি পড়েছিল, এইসব প্রেস কনফারেন্স এমনিও কোনো মানে রাখে না. No. We expect better things from Narendra Modi. Even Mamta did press conferences, even Shubhendu is doing press conferences. Shubhendu is doing it better. Why can't Narendra Modi do it better than Manmohan Singh? Modi finally tweeted today on paper leaks and that looks so stupid. Now imagine if he would have remarked this a couple of months ago, yes, that is what. I'll say it again. The mood swings of apologists goes from realpolitik 10-dimensional masterstroke chess to plain. I have a solution: digitize all transactions and all forms of wealth accumulation, then implement income-based reservations. भाई सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक प्रॉब्लम है, पावर में जो बैठेगा वो तुम्हारा बैंक अकाउंट गायब कर देगा एक दिन तुम पे गुस्सा हुआ तो. बट वैसा भी होने भी वाला है, मतलब इट्स आउट ऑफ आवर हैंड्स एनीवे. ये फालतू का कंप्लेन कर रहा हूं मैं. गेट अ प्रेस सेक्रेटरी लाइक द वाइट. तो है, तो एवरी मिनिस्ट्री हैज अ स्पोक्सपर्सन, डोंट दे? और एम आई रॉन्ग? उन लोगों का सैलरी किस बात का मिल रहा है? I wanted to see Kolkata women police batting today. I wanted to see Kolkata women police batting today at Park Circus, Alia University. Penguins were ताई ना की? अच्छा. और फिर भाई 4 month प्रेग्नेंट महिला को भेजा है क्राउड मैनेज करने के लिए. क्या है उसका इमोशनल ब्लैकमेल तुम अब स्टूडेंट्स पे डालोगे? Mumbai police detained Abish Mathew, Ronak Rajni. They posted video of them having thumbs up and vada pav provided by police and playing with balloons in detention. Public choice theory, Even one simple Man Ki Baat monologue would have disarmed most genuine protesters. Stroyon, okay. See, if Modi had done the things that I wish Modi did, उन सब से ये प्रोटेस्ट नहीं बंद होते या रुकते. प्रोटेस्ट का जो रूप है वो एग्जैक्टली सेम ही रहता, मगर और बहुत सारे लोगों के मन में कोई शंका नहीं रहता, मोदी के इंटेंशंस को लेके, बीजेपी को लेके गुस्सा नहीं रहता। मान लो कि अगर जो 30% है वहां पे जो जेन्युइनली वेल इंटेंशनड, वेल मीनिंग प्रोटेस्टर्स है, ऑनेस्ट एक्टर्स है इस कॉन्वर्सेशन में, वो 30% भोसड़ी के वहां पे नहीं रहता, वो 70% वहां पे रहता। अगर कोई कार्ल मार्क्स भी हमारे देश का प्रधानमंत्री होता आज, तो वो 70% वहां पे रहता ही कार्ल मार्क्स का रेजिग्नेशन डिमांड करने के लिए। एंड द अदर थिंग दैट वुड हैव हैपेंड इज, ये फोकट का कीबोर्ड आर्मी, उसके पास भी थोड़ा कुछ और कैपिटल रहता, आर्ग्यूमेंट्स रहते कि देखो मोदी जी ने तो ये बोला है, भरोसा दिया है, ये डिफेंड नहीं करना पड़ता है, देखो देखो भरोसा रखो, मोदी जी कुछ कर रहे हैं, ही इज प्लानिंग समथिंग, 2 महीने बाद देख लो हो जाएगा, उसके बाद हो जाएगा। अरे ये हो जाएगा, देख लो, थोड़ा वेट कर लो, ये बोलने का काम, ये बोलने के लिए पैसे तुम्हें नहीं दिए जाते, ये बोलने के सचमुच पैसे कुछ लोगों को दिए जाते हैं, जो लोग निकम्मे हैं। तो इस बात पे तुम फोकट का डिफेंड मत करो मोदी को। अगर ऐसा कुछ सिचुएशन है जिसमें किसी को भी कोई पैसा नहीं दिया जा रहा है, लाइक some things which are not monetizable, like researching pure maths or talking about how great India's ancient history was. Like today, it's at least a very lucrative situation on Instagram and YouTube, but it wasn't until like 4 years back. ऐसे चीजों पे खर्च करो समय और पैसे, क्योंकि ये सब करने के लिए कोई और बैठा नहीं है, ये सब करने के लिए किसी को कोई पैसे नहीं दे रहा है। तुम जो कर रहे हो उसके लिए पैसे खा रहे लोगों, people after people are just ripping the fuck out of BJP for years, crores of rupees. उन भोसरी वालों का गला मेटाफोरिकली पकड़ो कभी कोई। CSK, but we should do for ideology. Yes, and why isn't Modi doing a particular thing, or whether Modi has a plan or not, that's not a part of anybody's ideology. कुशल मेहरा भाई, मैं बात कर चुका हूं, उससे ज्यादा एक्सेस फार्मिंग से नहीं। দাদা এক্সে রিভিল ফ্যাক্টস বলে একটা পেজ আছে, ও বলছে ওরা ফ্রিয়ের মজুর আইটি সেল কোনো পয়সাই খরচ করে না। সেটাই তো আমি বলছি, বাট আইটি সেলকে তো টাকা দেওয়া হয়, আইটি সেলে অফিসিয়ালি যারা আছে তারা তো টাকা পায়। The accused for NEET 2024 paper leak was released today as there was no proof against him. What? I thought the only bright point out of all this was that people are actually arrested. What is going on, man? Oh my god. Zakham. Harek. Modi is getting a free pass because as a politician he is gifted. That's why FIFA gives a free pass to. Gifted on what? A politician is supposed to be gifted on convincing people. He's not even doing the convincing part. What's your opinion on police brutality? Doesn't it add fuel to fire, especially when the flammable material has been removed earlier, especially as a libertarian and decolonialist? I discussed that for the last 20 minutes. Are you saying that whatever I covered about the police brutality, that wasn't enough for you, or are you saying you missed that discussion? Please clear that, Freedom. Otherwise, it's just weirdly repetitive for the other viewers here. Gifted in having the most inadequate opposition. नहीं, मैनेज भी किया होगा, नहीं तो भाई कुछ तो मिस्ट्री है कि नेशनल हेराल्ड मामले में जेल क्यों नहीं गया है राहुल और सोनिया गांधी। Tell me a reservation system where it doesn't form ghetto style caste identification apart from income based. It cuts across all religions lines. Just pure capitalism play of up and down of wealth. Yeah, I'm pretty much in favor. Freedom missed it. Acha. Yeah, so my opinion on this is just two things. That if you are marching towards the parliament, you deserve to get lathi charged or tear gassed or everything except killing, a bullet to your head. Everything else you deserve. That's not going to happen. Why? That I explained. I'm not going to repeat that right now, so that I'm not repetitive. The other thing is, what I actually consider police brutality is the insane stuff they do. Like one guy is kneeling down in front of them, begging and stuff. You go and hit that person repeatedly on his femur. At that point, why are you doing that? Are you so angry? You are out of control. The aggression has got better of you, fat fuck. पुलिस ऑफिसर हु गॉट द जॉब, प्रोबेबली तुम्हारे चाचा विधायक थे, या कभी कोई चुतिया स्पोर्ट खेला था जब छोटा था, या फिर तुम्हारे परिवार वाले किसी विधायक को जानते थे, या फिर कोई विधायक को 10 करोड़ खिलवा दिए। तुम्हारा इतना गुस्सा आ गया है कि वो 20 साल का लड़का बैठ के हाथ जोड़ रहा है, उसको फीमर पे मारे जा रहे हो, मारे जा रहे हो, मारे जा रहे हो, और आसपास कोई नहीं है, 5-10 लोग है, ऐसा नहीं है, घिरे नहीं हो तुम, बाकी लोग भाग गए। उसको देख के पीटे जा रहे हो, पीटे जा रहे हो, पीटे जा रहे हो, वो क्यों? उससे मादरचोद तुम्हारा प्रोटेस्ट उठ रहा है, बेटर क्राउड मैनेजमेंट हो रहा है, ये लौड़े, ये है साइकोपैथ्स। फिर जो वो जो किसी के गांड में डंडा घुसाने का जेस्चर कर रहा था, टच भी कर रहा था, ऐसे काम, ये है पुलिस ब्रुटैलिटी। इनके लिए इनको ट्रेनिंग मिलना चाहिए। इट्स अज्यूम दैट दे डू हैव द ट्रेनिंग। In society, it's an undeclared understanding between police personnel and civilians that yes, we are giving you arms. We don't even ask for arms because we are fucking sheep. Because you have better training and better restraint than us. And restraint police दिखाते हैं, 17 दिन restraint दिखाया, मगर जब restraint दिखा के एज अ वर्किंग मैनुअल तुमको बोला जा रहा है, ठीक है, इनको पीट के उठाओ, उसके बाद भी रिस्ट्रेंट ही रखना है, उसके बाद तुम्हारा साइकोपैथ बिहेवियर बाहर नहीं लाना है। Some people were saying that as if the stones were found on police vans and even the police batons had nails on them. पुलिस वाले की कोई पर्सनल दुश्मनी होगी और वो गाड़ में डंडा वाला अधूरी वीडियो है, उसमें किसकी? अरे क्या गलती? कौन से गलती के लिए कोई पुलिस वाला गाड़ में डंडा घुसाने का जेस्चर कर सकता है? क्या गलती है बोलो? उस पुलिस को वहां पे मादरचोद बोल दिया, उसके गाड़ में डंडा घुसाने का जेस्चर किया, पुलिस को थप्पड़ मार दिया, कौन से चीज के लिए वो जस्टिफाइड है? एनीथिंग अदर देन होल्डिंग समवन बाय द कॉलर, पुटिंग देम इन द पुलिस वैन or lathi-charging them and clearing out the spot. Everything else is police brutality. Today also Kushal Mehra was blaming Ajit Bharti that he is like CJP only in his community. I started to अच्छा, गाड़ में डंडा नहीं था, सिर्फ पोक था। नहीं, गाड़ में डंडा मार के या पोक मार के भगाया नहीं जाएगा, वो गार्ड है, वो डंडा है। सिविलियन का गार्ड जैसा ही ट्रीट करना पड़ेगा, क्यों? उसके पैसे से, उसके घूस से उस मोटे चुतिये के घर चलते हैं, ठीक है। मोदी apparently did a live stream on Instagram just 15 minutes ago. माई और बहनों, वो भी 15 दिन पहले शूट करके रखा होगा, अभी लाइव स्ट्रीम पे बिठा दिया। Yes, restraint and arrest, that's all you have to do. And Stickle Mako, Anand, the moment you say this, people who have never experienced martial arts in their lives, they will say, no, you don't know the aggression of a situation. वहां पे कुछ भी हो सकता है, कुछ भी ना हो, इसलिए चुतिया उनको सैलरी दिया जाता है। दादा, आई थिंक दैट पुलिस वाला इज इन द चैट राइट नाउ। कहाँ पे? कहाँ है सर? आप मोटे है कि नहीं? आप कोई चुतिया स्पोर्ट खेलते थे कि नहीं? डू यू थिंक वी आर इन मेजर नीड ऑफ एन एंटी एस्टेब्लिशमेंट लेड पॉलिटिक्स? यस ब्रो, यस फकर, यस। आयुष समादार, आहा, a Bengali Brahmin to our rescue again, shit. Do you think we are in a major need of an anti-establishment led politics, be it any side, like I'm done with this? Amen. Yes. और ये राइट विंगर्स का और भी बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है, और एब्सोल्युटली अंडरस्टैंडेबल। आई डू हैव सिंपैथी ऑन फॉर द राइट विंग फॉर हैविंग दिस प्रॉब्लम, क्योंकि लेफ्टिस्ट का क्या मजा है कि लेफ्टिस्ट का जो नैरेटिव्स है, इकोसिस्टम है, ये भोसले के ब्राह्मण समाज के समय से आ रहा है, ठीक है। उनके इंटेलेक्चुअल डिसेंडेंट्स उनके लिए पूरा घर सजा के बैठे कि हाँ भाई, स्टेडियम दिया है, पिच बना के दिया है, तुम आके सिर्फ यहाँ पे खेलो, हमारा उद्धार करो। राइट विंग का है कि राइट विंग मतलब ही बीजेपी हमेशा से है और कुछ नहीं है। अब बीजेपी पावर में रहने से अब एक सेक्शन निकल के आ रहा है कि हाँ, हमारे डिफॉल्ट कुछ ओपिनियंस है ऑन सोसाइटी, कंट्री, पॉलिसी एटसेट्रा, वो बीजेपी एग्जीक्यूट कर रही कि नहीं, उसके ऊपर हम बीजेपी का कभी कभी अप्रिसिएशन करेंगे, कॉम्प्लीमेंट्स देंगे, कभी कभी गाली देंगे। और कांग्रेस सीपीएम हमारे लेट्स से विजन में, हमारे पैरामीटर में भी, हमारे पेरीमीटर में ही नहीं आते हैं, क्योंकि दे आर नॉट रिमोटली इन अग्रीमेंट विथ व्हाट वी वांट फॉर द कंट्री। In the same way as any default, I don't understand politics, but etc. I don't like CJP, but I don't like Trinamool, but I'm no fan of Mamata Banerjee, but I don't like Rahul Gandhi, but ऐसा जो एक बहुत बड़ा अर्बन तबका है of let's say 15 to 45 year olds, इन लोगों का तो बहुत बड़ा प्रिविलेज है कि ये लोग आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं एज नॉन पॉलिटिकल न्यूट्रल एटसेट्रा. Ask them 5 questions on 5 policy positions on 5 things, anything. All of them will be identical to CPIM's or Congress's or Trinamool's policies because all of them are leftists. So right now we are waiting to have an overwhelming mass of right wingers who are just right wing civilians, who maybe are even not political, like day to day politics following people. Like, thank God I am right now. Day to day politics is pointless. The nation's direction, our people's direction, the narrative's direction, none of it is dependent on day to day events. Yes, after it accumulates, it becomes a big enough thing. Then you must obviously come into it and discuss what do we do about it. But since you are not in any position to stop any of that, you don't have to spend your time commenting or having a position on the micro developments of those situations each and every day, because that wastes your time because you are not in that position. The only reason you usually do that is because you are addicted to social media or addicted to following daily politics. That might be your hobby in the first place. But when we are discussing this Fokat ka keyboard warrior class, वो लोग कीबोर्ड वॉरियरिंग करके किन चीजों पे विक्ट्रीज लाए हैं, उन चीजों में विक्ट्रीज लाना ज्यादा जरूरी था या शहजाद पूनावाला का काम उनको करने का ज्यादा जरूरत है? उन लोगों ने जिन चीजों में हमको वॉर जिताए हैं वो और ज्यादा करना है, वो और सिर्फ वो ही करना है. That you are a random not non-political right winger who just has some certain stances. You don't know who BJP is, you don't know who Congress is. That's what we need very, very urgently. Right wing does not equal to BJP. Yeah. Can trads be tamed and turned into a good right wing opposition? Navneet, if what the fuck? Shit. If we are not in a position to tame right wing trads, then there's no point discussing about taming trads. Like, taming trads would imply trads are an inverted organization who are countered by other organizations, etc. But if you ask that, can trads become a further right wing, right to BJP sort of an opposition? They have tried forever. They forever failed. Let's see. Why LPI doesn't get support as CJP? If I answer that, pro CJP people or CJP might sue me. But you get it. This should be clear as day to you that all the aspersions that you integral humanists had cast on LPI, all of you today are proven wrong by the sheer failure of LPI to move the needle. If LPI was like CJP, तो देखते तुम टैक्सेस कम करवाने के लिए रेजिग्नेशन डिमांड करते लोग. LPI is Islamic Glock suckers. तो भाई कतार फंड करके उनको जंतर मंतर पे काहे भेज नहीं दिया? LPI is Libertarian Party of India. Yeah, I'm talking about the main accused for 24 paper leak. अच्छा who was अच्छा. Oh no, the 26 guys are arrested. अब 24 वाला निकल भी गया. वाह क्या उच्च विचार है. Can we get Hindutva plus capitalism in the future? 50% चांस है, हो जाएगा. I think 50% चांस है. Fuck the Rawlsian Marxist social justice bullshit. Thank you, Just Living. I wanted to show some important data and interpretations regarding the larger problem regarding paper leaks. There is nothing to discuss about the protest. Shrayan, do you want to come online right now? Then I'll send you the link. What's your assumption that really can happen at the end of the protest? At least Education Minister resign? Depends on what Modi says today. Are you all getting any vibe? What's he talking about in the live stream that's going on right now, I guess, in the Instagram, right? Or is it over? There was the ISRO committee and NTA rejected computer based for yeah. हाँ, वो श्रीनिवासन कमेटी नाम का कुछ है ना, वो सब रिजेक्ट किया गया, गरीबों पे प्रेशर आ जाएगा. Increasingly less likely that Hindutva and capitalism is gonna be socialist idea is gonna be the baseline of our. देखो इनमें बवाल तो लगना है. बहुत सारे हिंदुत्ववादी जिनके sympathies had towards capitalism, or a lot of capitalism people who have sympathy for Hindutva, they will have to pick a side and let the other go if Hindutvadis and capitalists do not unite. Uniting, these two people uniting means vehemently. Okay, Shravan, I'm sending you the link. These two groups uniting means vehemently discarding communism, Marxism, socialism, RSS's economic vision, integral humanism, not having any sympathy for the greats you probably grew up worshipping in your family, in your shakha, in your RSS school. You cannot have sympathy based on any justification for integral humanism or BJP RSS kind of economics, at the same time hate Dr. Abhijit Banerjee and Amartya Sen. They are identical. Please realize that someday and then be overwhelmingly, completely in favor of free markets and stuff, and then unite with us. Radhakrishnan committee, okay. Okay, by the way, Shravan will join now. He has some great research. And I will check out the live chat by the time Shravan is joining. I'll just send him the link. Tomorrow is Jummah Day or Friday, and nationwide protests. Acha. No, injustice. No, but the bigger question is, will that unity then happen? Look, either the unity is happening or there is going to be two right wings. Deal with it. If you want an united right wing, someone has to let go of their beliefs. Either I have to assume that yes, I know capitalism works, but let's just go with this because whatever RSS says is the bigger threat is the bigger threat. Or you will be in one of those families of Hindutvad forever, and you'll know that yes, integral humanism was kind of, I think, seemingly great, but it's just not working out, and there seems to be overwhelming evidence that it doesn't work out. And look who the people are who are our unlikely bedfellows. Dr. Abhijit Banerjee, his research, what he says, why he says it, and he agrees with practically everything our side does. Then let's go to that side. 50-50 might be an overestimation. I think there's more a chance that the unity will not happen. There is 30-40% chance that in the end we will become Hindutwadi and capitalist, because a lot of things in India that people don't think will happen, then in the end happens. Okay, like Savarkar died without any recognition, and today Savarkarism is the default for a lot of liberals as well, who either have not heard of Savarkar or hate Savarkar deeply from their guts, or deeply hate Savarkar's guts. Okay, that their baseline is yes, even I am a proud Hindu. Yes, I have Muslim friends, but I will not tolerate Muslim aggression on me. Yes, you are patriotic to this country. Fair enough, you are with me. What was Savarkarism about, if not that? Then let's go to that thing. 50-50 might be an overestimation. I think there's more a chance that the unity will... Oh, I guess he is listening to our live stream. So the last thing I want to say on this is, no, we will keep discussing this, but before Shravan joins, what I'm saying is, just like Savarkarism survives without the credit to Savarkar, it might be so that in the end it happens, but nobody really knows that, okay, it happened linearly. Okay, the capitalists one day sat with the Hindutva socialists and decided that from today onwards we will never have a fight again, guys. Okay, ab se hum bhai bhai. ऐसा नहीं होगा. ऐसा भी होना चाहिए, मगर ऐसा शायद नहीं होगा. In the end, like by the time I'm in my 50s and 60s, we'll probably see the baseline discussion in India be that people protesting at Jantar Mantar for maybe 2% increase in some freebie somewhere, or some new caste reservation, etc. Okay, that kind of stuff. And they will all be proud Hindus, and a bunch of Muslims will be in that. That's the India we might be getting to for the near future, at least. Later on, it's going to go to shit again. Yeah, hi, Swan. What does your research say? You can hear me, right? No, he is still not here fully. Why am I getting symptoms of BJP not winning 2031 assembly elections? No, that depends on whether BJP wins 2029 or not. Yeah, Swan, you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what does your research say?
Look, now a few points.
Hey, Strayon, I apologize. I forgot to discuss
Yeah.
one thing. The please just wait 5 more minutes. I have to comment on the Rajesh Nandi side as well. Did you see
Oh,
Rajesh
sure.
Nandi's opinions on this? Because a lot of people were commenting that do check out Rajesh Nandi,
No,
what he said on this.
I started watching it. I watched the first 3 minutes, and then I couldn't complete
Okay.
it. What did he say?
Okay. Yeah. So, acha, I'm putting you out of the screen. Okay. Then I'll have you back on. So, guys, the Rajesh Nandi comment is something I disagree with, and on this, there's no authority issue. On this, I can disagree with him if I like, simply because we are not discussing spirituality here. My complaint against Rajesh Nandi, or disagreement against Rajesh Nandi on this, is exactly the same, for the same reasons. That first of all, whatever his criticisms of the government, arrogance, etc., there I agree. My criticism or disagreement with him is in his framing of the protest, or the larger context, which he is ignoring because this is not his job. He doesn't do this all day. And frankly, he also did that video or live stream just because so many people have asked him to comment on this, which is that, yeah, it's a justified protest. Lathi charge is wrong. That's not a stance I can stand by today, because Rajesh Nandi himself has not really taken any significant vehement stance against Trinamool Congress's insanity for 15 years. Out of the blue, the world is going to come to a stop because of one topic protest in one spot in the country, for one failure of one branch of the Indian government. And the same people who are going to pretend like the world is coming to an end are not going to speak out on the insanity done by everybody else in the country. At some point, we have to take a movement seriously on the basis of who are in the movement. Let's say indirectly, in some way, even Rajesh Nandi is in the movement, so to say, because he is in their favor, at least. He's a sympathizer in this case. Then that is just going on proving my point further. That it's just not a group of opinions I can take seriously or want to associate myself with remotely. You stayed quiet under Trinamool because you were afraid, not Rajesh Nandi. But if you stayed quiet under Trinamool because you were afraid, you don't get brownie points for courage in front of BJP. Yeah, come back, Strayan. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, তোর mute করা.
How exactly do we share things from present?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just show you a section of the thing I built. Before that, some context. So now you see two of the most primary competitive exams that are being held, or the largest ones that are being held centrally every year, are JEE Main and NEET. Okay? JEE Main is for the first entry-level exam for all the engineering students nationally. And then we have NEET, which is for the medical exams. Now, categorically speaking, the number of people who appeared for NEET is much bigger than the number of people who appear for JEE Main on most of the years. JEE Main happens twice a year minimum. Every single attempt happens in 2 different sessions. So there is a morning shift and there is an afternoon shift, which is why in some of the years, JEE Main happened on 2 consecutive days in 2 shifts, which was 4 shifts in total in one attempt. And 2 months down the line, you have another attempt which is the second attempt of JEE Mains. So total, there are a minimum of 4 shifts and a maximum of 8 shifts in a particular year. During the COVID years, there were 4 JEE Main attempts given. When there are these many attempts, the total number of question pool is much larger, and the propensity of one particular pool to get leaked is much lesser because it is randomized. So there you simply cannot leak a complete paper, which is because nobody can figure out on which set what you will be getting. In NEET, the structure is completely different, where all the people appear for just one exam throughout the year. So there's just one attempt. USPE, it was AIPMT previously, and there was AIMS, which had a very different structure, because in AIMS, understand, you simply cannot cheat all that much. The structure of AIMS was such that you could not have cheated. Another secondly important, the second most important thing is, if paper leaks do happen and there is significant cheating where a student has been made to memorize the answers, and right now I'm speaking on 2 of the exams which are conducted by this tainted organization called the NT. Okay. Understand the difference. How it is organized is, when you enter the premises, you are being checked for everything, tools and gadgets and everything, then you are given a paper notepad. In that paper notepad, you are supposed to show all the calculations of how you have delivered your answers. Whose answers say, you can kind of figure out कि the person has given the answers genuinely, or was there some sort of a leak, or he, let's say, adopted to some sort of malpractice from where? Yes, from where you can basically find things out. Now, while you leave the exam hall, you are not allowed to carry back this notepad with you. It is being collected. In 90% of the cases, whoever tops a particular exam, their OMR sheet is being mapped with that particular notepad. In case of NEET, that OMR sheet is capped with the digital JEE Main answers, so that it is a clear-cut case that nobody by luck can actually top the exam. Funnily, in WBJE, which is the West Bengal Joint Entrance Examination, do you know what the system is? You are given a sheet of questions, which is also the place where you're supposed to do your rough work, and you can carry it home. And it happens in the most disastrous kinds of infrastructural places where you have no CCTV, nothing, because I have appeared for all of it. Now, the point is it true that when an exam is conducted digitally, there cannot be a leak? There can be. There can be other malpractices. For example, I am talking about the last year's, in fact, this year's exam, GATE. So GATE is for engineering undergraduates, which is what I appeared for this year in the CSE section. It was conducted by, I believe, IIT Guwahati, and there were large-spread allegations of malpractices, wherein several centers, even though the exam is completely organized digitally, apparently people were not checked thoroughly, and they took mobile phones inside, simply used Google Lens and found answers to several of the questions which were theoretical in one of the shifts. The problem is, when the exams are organized digitally and someone actually gets to sneak in a mobile phone and find the answers, you would not have the rough sheet completely filled the way it should be. WebG has different sets though, but have you seen how it is conducted? I haven't followed up if it has changed in the past 2 years, but actually I have my WebG question paper when I appeared for it, and the question paper is also pretty much the answer sheet, and there is a separate OMR sheet which is the only thing that is collected. So you have absolutely no idea to make out if a person has genuinely answered those questions, or they have collected the solutions from somebody else and made it. So that is the way all of the West Bengal government engineering colleges function. The second is, the Radhakrishnan committee had particularly made this point that every single exam should be digitized. Who pushed back on it? The states. Why did they push back on it? And there's a legitimate reason for that. Now I'll move to the statistics of it. JEE Mains happens in 2 sessions on multiple days. You can divide it and you can accommodate everybody. There's sufficient infrastructure to give or allot a computer to every single student. In NEET, you have to do everything on the same day. I do not know why, because the propensity of making two different sets in NEET is even easier, because one of the sections is biology. You can simply prop up many questions from there, theoretical, maybe on the same topic, little twisted, and you can get things done. And since the level is easier, so you do not have to innovate the toughest questions every time. The level is pretty mediocre. It's even lower than JEE Mains on most of the occasions. So it is very easy to make two randomized sets. Now, who pushed back on the Radhakrishnan report? It was the different states. And their logic was कि एक ही दिन में इतने सारे बच्चे एग्जाम देंगे, तो we cannot actually allot all of them computers. In case of JEE Mains, what happens is, since it is organized digitally, most people have to move to their centers. Literally, they have to transport themselves from one part of the city to another part of the city on most of the occasions. And they have to appear for all sorts of let's say check-ins and stuff to find out where the center is, and they have to most of the times stay in some hotel or something, or some guest house on the day before the exam. In NEET, since you do not have the mandate of actually taking the exam digitally, it happens in all sorts of phases. Now, why did the states push back? So I'll have to share this data with you and understand the kind of places where most of the JEE Main exams happen is maybe TCS or some proper university. It might be a private university as well. It happens in all sorts of places in West Bengal. It happens in Techno, for example, which has a multiple big labs. And most of the private engineering colleges are also turned into JEE Mains and GATE centers during the exams. ठीक है ना? In NEET, since there is no mandate for that digital infrastructure, it can happen anywhere. It can happen in the remotest villages where people do not have to travel from one part of the state to another part, and the infrastructure is missing. A major requirement when you do not have to move from one part of the state to other part of the state is that wahan pe the local infrastructure should be available. A major place where all of these exams are conducted is the universities and the schools as well. Several schools are also elected as centers for carrying the examinations because they too have computers after all. Now I'll show you the education budget of the various states, and you'll be astounded to see some figures. So allow me to present this. Okay. Okay. So I guess you can see my screen here. This is the West Bengal education budget.
Shamanna zoom in kar.
Shamanna zoom in, okay. Is this better? And is it clear most importantly? Okay. So this is the Revex versus Capex in terms of crude money, which is rupees in terms of crores. Okay. And it maps from 2004-2005 to up till the latest financial year. All of the data has been derived from the CAG report, which is the report made by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. Here you will have a basic idea of which parties were in power during these reigns. This is the revenue expenditure. This is the capital outlay or capital expenditure, or the capex in green. Just see the graph. Okay. In around 2004 and 5, the revenue expenditure was around 5,000 crores. Capital expenditure was 6.42. Ever since then, the gap has only increased, where by the time we have reached 2022-2023, the revenue expenditure is 41,000 crores and the capital expenditure is 369 crores. So basically, around 41,000 crores is being spent to make every single stakeholder get paid, and a bunch of babus who oversees these things, their salary comes from here. Only 369 crore rupees is being spent in a particular year to develop infrastructure and to maintain it. In this 369 crores, which is the capex, let me come back now. I'll get back to it. We can have all sorts of scams and corruptions, because obviously you can understand a part of the revenue expenditure is not going anywhere. It is simply not going anywhere because those are stakeholders which are involved with that money. So if you're not paying somebody, they will always move up to High Court or media or somewhere, and you'll get to know that there is some malpractice going on. Out of this 360 crores, and by the way, in 2023-2024, the capex intensity, the capex intensity or the capex percentage, if you see, it is 1.3%, and this is what I'm talking about, the education budget alone. Okay, matlab in 2023-2024, of the entire education budget of West Bengal that was being allotted, 1.3% of the entire education budget was actually spent after developing infrastructure. इसमें से where are you going to make fully functional devices where you can actually host a central server which is functioning in Delhi and everything is disseminated all across the country? No, they did not do NEET any better in 2025. It was just because there was one thing that happened, and eventually, remember, NEET 2025 May, the things were even more bizarre. In 2024 leak, the things were even more bizarre. I don't know if you had followed it or not, but literally, the paper did not reach several of the centers on time, and they were given arbitrary extra time, and they eventually reached certain marks. Yeah, and nobody actually admitted it till the last moment. And they actually got certain marks, which according to the maths of the exam was not possible to be achieved. Wahan pe they did not mention anything. So in 2025, they did what? Maximally, they made sure that the papers would reach the centers at the right time. My simple point is, and as we speak, 2 more paper leaks have already happened, one in Punjab, one in Madhya Pradesh or somewhere, I don't know. In one of them, the BJP is protesting against somebody else. The larger point being, now just look at Punjab. Okay, so the other paper leak happened in Punjab, right? Let's see the education budget of Punjab. Because what I'm trying to establish is, this education budget is what covers your public universities. It is what covers your schools. It basically covers every single infrastructural region where this infrastructure needs to be developed, jahan pe bacche exam denge. If that infrastructure is not present, and why is it present in case of JEE? Because it happens on 2 days. So you're basically dividing the entire populace by 2. That too, the total number of students who are appearing for that exam is much lesser than NEET, at least by 5 lakhs. So even if you divide it by the population of the state, it mostly remains same. Okay? The problem with NEET is that you're organizing it on one single day. उसमें भी half the time your offices की एक ही shift में करना है कि देश के डॉक्टर का तो quality समान रहना चाहिए. So the engineers should not have any standards whatsoever. वहाँ पे वो कुछ भी भांग घोषणा करें. Doctors को मतलब same quality आना चाहिए. पर वहाँ पे reservation कर सकते हैं क्योंकि doctors को retributive justice क्यों नहीं मिलना चाहिए?
By remember, Abhijit Banerjee also hates tech bros. So obviously, obviously BJP will also hate tech bros.
Yeah, sure. Look at the numbers of Punjab, and today I'm only discussing the education part. I'm not discussing the other sections, but all the portfolios are present. Okay. So what you have to basically do is move to Punjab in terms of state, and here is Punjab.
আচ্ছা স্ক্রিনে ওই হাইড লেখা বাটনটা টিপে দাও তো তাহলে একটু ক্লিয়ার হয়ে যাবে জায়গাটা ওই স্টপ শেয়ারিং এর ডান দিকে হাইড লেখা
রাইট আমি আপাতত ক্যাপেক্স ইন্টেন্সিটিটা বন্ধ রাখছি লুক এট দিস হট শিট
পাঞ্জাব অলসো
নো নট পাঞ্জাব এভরি ড্যাম
দিস ইজ বেঙ্গল what
no this is Punjab yep
for every state this is the graph this a similar graph is there
in education for every state it is the same
what
yes that is why I was so desperately wanting to discuss this and I did not get a slot. That's fine. I want to show you Maharashtra. Now wait, I want to show you Maharashtra.
Yeah, I just for fun's sake show the states you want to show first, but then show all the states. Just go through all of them. Let's see their graphs.
That's fine.
The differences between
I want
CapEx
to show you Maharashtra for education. ठीक है? Yeah.
Fish. What the
Okay, so 2023-2024 revenue expenditure 91,647 crores. Capital outlay 468 crores.
Okay, Srayan, At some point, do we wonder whether it's laziness, incompetence, or simply that 462 that they're spending is actually the money that GUI has, and rest of it is just show for electoral optics, right? That's the case, seemingly, right?
The fun part is none of the parties across all the states, across West Bengal, cares about education. That particular portfolio strengths never changes, pre-election or post-election. So basically, education sector they do not even give freebies. That's how batshit it is. Okay. In every other section, every other portfolio, be it industries and minerals or anything, if you see the pre-election years, which is basically T-2 and T-3 and T+2, T+3, you will see significant PP changes in the graph in terms of revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. In education, it is always the same. Isme se bhi, there is another very interesting section that I want to show you, which is the Delhi rupee. So apparently, now this is a basically overall estimate of everything involved. Not all these states, that the number that they show actually on their, let's say, state expenditure, all of the money is not coming from the state's revenues. In most cases,
I'll
come back.
Okay.
In most cases, 30 to 40% are central transfers. So if you can see, the yellow line indicates central transfer in terms of percentage of revenue. Blue line is for devolution, because obviously a lot of things were removed, like cesses and everything. After 2014, I guess cesses was removed from the state's department and everything was kept by the center. Jahan pe they basically increased the percentage of central transfers by a bit, and devolution ke under cesses were completely removed, of which these are discretionary grants, and this is the own tax revenue percentage. So this is for West Bengal. Look at the yellow line. Basically, these are the central transfers. The red line is which indicates what are discretionary grants. Yahan pe this white line is your revenue, own revenue. ठीक है ना? So let me remove the discretionary grants and devolution part. So what remains is the yellow line, which is central transfer. What remains is the white line, which is own tax revenue. And you can clearly see at no point, except a small section between 2013 to 2014 or 15 maybe, consistently we were basically entirely dependent on center's money, even during the CPIM era. And to break it to you, West Bengal, out of all states, is the worst in this regard. Contrary to the popular belief, overall हमें सबसे ज़्यादा पैसे दिल्ली से मिले हैं. This is the reality. Out of all the 26 states, on an average, West Bengal is the one goddamn state which has been most dependent on Delhi money, even more than Punjab, although Punjab will soon cross us.
On education or everything?
Overall.
I see.
Overall.
That's per capita. Per capita, state's expenditure on West Bengal is highest.
Yeah.
But Swayan, obviously you are using some other metric, because officially the stats, for GK, people know that the GUI has spent the highest on Kashmir forever, right?
No. Look, that is the thing. The metric I am using is overall how much was given in respect to our own this thing.
Right. Okay.
In terms of percentage. So if this is our budget, this is our total revenue of the state. As a percentage of our total revenue, how much percentage is being given by the center? So the overall exact amount of money that can be given to Kashmir can be more in certain cases. Let's see Kashmir now. I don't want to discuss it fully today, but let's see Jammu Kashmir. So where is Jammu Kashmir? Jammu and Kashmir. Okay. Devolution and discretionary grants I am removing. So you will see the gap over here is more. I agree. But then here the problem is, it is in terms of total percentage of revenue receipts. What it does not take into account, and I want to mention it because everything I have not inculcated yet, what it does not take into account is that a lot of these states actually do not run on revenue deficits. A lot of these states do run on revenue deficits. So we also
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to check on the particular years where the Delhi grant was more than whatever we were providing. How much were we reliant on Delhi grants simply to pay salaries to people?
Hmm.
In Kashmir, whatever grant was being given by Delhi was used to develop infrastructure. So basically, that amount that was being given was in the capex section where they were developing something. In Punjab, that goddamn money is used to replace the revenue deficits they are suffering. So they're taking money from center to pay their state employees.
Yeah.
It is quite some bit of similar trend in terms of West Bengal, because if you see, and there's another ledger as well, which is basically based on AZER data, which is the data of district, the school districts. ठीक है, मतलब district में जो municipal sections and schools है, उनका data है of primary education that we'll discuss in some separate podcast. वहाँ पे भी you'll see 40 to 50% of the midday meal scheme comes from the center. 40 to 50% of any kind of digitization or digital infrastructure development comes from the center. Which is why centrally, whatever budget is being spent, because you see, education is not something center should be spending on at all. I do agree they should be spending it on, but where should that money go according to you? On the centrally managed institutes and universities? IITs mein jaye, IISc mein jaye, you make some cutting edge research. Minimal amount of money goes over there. Even there, the maximum section of centers budget is being diverted to the states itself.
Yeah, which is why the
States
IIT qualities are not increasing according to most tech bros and science students, professors.
They are not.
Aspiring students, right?
In fact, they too are increasingly becoming reliant on alumni money like JU. And वहाँ पे भी the new IITs have not actually kicked off. They simply cannot increase infrastructure. Even if you see, and these are too much in details, but if you see the kind of projects that the newer IITs get, and the kind of projects that older IITs get, which is what is involved with the funding as well, it is significantly low for the new ones. Now, if you see Jammu Kashmir, look at this. The trend basically never changed. Irrespective of governments, the thing is, they might say a lot of things today, but हमेशा जम्मू कश्मीर को पैसा दिया जा रहा था. The problem might be this, that after the BJP came, a lot of this money was used meaningfully because it was no more a conflict economy and they were developing something. But in terms of what was given, it was never a different scenario. Now I want to explore all these states, particularly the education sector, the capex versus, say you propose the capex expenditure, how much should it be? That's not the point. What I am saying is,
Capital outlay is the point.
Yes, if you are building infrastructure at 1%, what is that parameter that is supposed to increase the quality of education significantly? Is
And
it
according
more
to
teachers or
every
is it
leftist in the world, and therefore most Indians, is just throw money at something. Something will happen. Something will just magically pop out. Just fund it.
I do agree to it on a certain percentage, because the day we will discuss primary education on one of the days, I'll actually show you how botched everything is, because I mentioned it previously also. These standards that are being followed to evaluate any kind of education or literacy rate in India.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what
Yeah.
it is? I want to say it loud for the audience.
Yes.
Up till standard 3, you are literate and educated if you can read a class 2 text. When you are in class 5, you are expected to know division. तुमने division सीख लिया, उसके बाद stop tracking. They are not interested with anything else. And all the data that the entirety of this nation maintains is on these two metrics. You can read a class 2 text or not, and you know division or not. And do you know, Kerala, out of all places, is losing there as well. Yes, in education, Kerala is one of the worst fiscally managed state now, where they are falling magnanimously, and in terms of the rate of the fall, they are most behind out of all states. West Bengal has managed education better than Kerala in recent times.
Bhai, who needs deep state? We don't even need deep state. I think is working overtime for no reason. We are going to fuck ourselves anyway.
Yeah, just have a look at this beautiful thing. Let's move back to the portfolio split. Okay? I am very hell-bent on showing you this. So education for Maharashtra, let's look at Punjab. Uh, hmm. This is for Punjab. ठीक है? 2024-25 revenue expenditure 16,560 crores, capital outlay 564 crores. In terms of capex percentage, we are at something more than 3% for most part of it. In fact, under a different alliance, it had reached significantly higher. So when it was ACD, and basically ACD was in alliance with the BJP, I believe, they were at a better percentage. यहाँ पे then it has always gone down, and it never reached the heights it used to. Let's look at Madhya Pradesh, because we were discussing that we do not. Okay, let's look at Kerala. Yeah. Just look at this line, flat, which basically also tells you that while exponentially the revenue expenditure or the number of, let's say, salary takers kept on increasing in the system, the capital investment never increased over a span of 20 years. Can you believe this shit? कि जो 2000s में capital में invest हो रहा था infrastructure में, आज भी after everything, after all sorts of inflation, वही invest हो रहा है. So technically we're
So that's
investing
not
less
even
and less
adjusted
every
for
year.
inflation. This is
No.
not adjusted for inflation.
This is raw money basically. That's what I'm saying. Na? It is adjusted for inflation, but understand it's raw money. तो capital
Right.
का तो cost बढ़ रहा होगा.
Now, teachers'
Yeah.
salaries or babu's salaries are not considered capex or
No.
even capital outlay.
That is RevX, because that is the fixed thing you're supposed to
Yeah.
give.
Shit.
This is Kerala 2022 was the worst year probably, where 24,000, almost 25,000 crore of revenue expenditure, 488 crores of capital outlay. If you see just the capital expenditure graph, see, this is the access for capital expenditure. Okay? It never crossed 3%. This is 3. Everywhere the graph where it exists, it is below 3%. In West Bengal, if you see that, let me remove these two sections. In fact, in West Bengal, it has crossed 3%. And look under which government it has crossed 3%. Not the government we believe is the most education friendly government. And the government which was claiming to be the most education friendly, under them, it never crossed 0.8%. So 0.8% was the capital expenditure in the education portfolio under the CPIM.
Remember, Srayan, CPIM's, like you mentioned, not only is it one of their biggest selling points, but their supporters, everybody believes magically that they have actually solved some seemingly mysterious problem. They have eradicated the evils of uneducatedness because CPM has done such a great job in government schools. Like, remember, who is not a leftist anymore, I guess, pretty much, but our old viewer whose YouTube handle reads Buddhadev Bhattacharya Archives. In fact, in his debate with me, when he was a leftist, he had said that, yes, English ban kar diya to kya hi hua, they opened so many schools. So even that opening so many schools actually did not amount to much, according to your graphs.
Did not. This is not my graphs. This is the Comptroller and Auditor General's data, which is published by the RBI. Where did the CAG get it from? They got it from the state government's budget. Whom did the state government's budget? Who furnished it? The state government themselves. So ऐसा नहीं they sent some spy or धुरंधर and they acquired those numbers. The state government themselves submitted it to the CAG. But credit where it is due. Now, what I was telling about CPIM, it was not all bad. I'll show you something called NCFC, which is the private investments in factories. Look how that increased under Buddhadev Bhattacharya. So let's go to this particular section of NCFC in crores and West Bengal, and we are not going to. Okay, we are going to see. So maybe we'll not see this, or we'll see both. Let's not show it now. Okay, so this is factory NCFC in crores. Okay, this is the graph. I have all the political parties marked. So this is
Clear.
right before the CPI
Yeah,
was voted
heaven
up
and
to
hell
power.
difference.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was 14,649 crores of private investments.
Shravan, I think
And
it's time to.
look where
It's important to remind people that the anti-Buddha Bhattacharya protest essentially was the CJP protest of that era. That was the equivalence. That was their coherence
yes,
as well. The degree of coherence, everything was similar. The how
it
justified
was.
they were, etc. Everything was the same. Like today, while this might be a legitimate issue, Dharmendra Pradhan, but they are protesting practically everything, right? Why else are they demanding Modi's resignation? That was the same. They were saying right now we are protesting and asking Buddha Bhattacharya to resign or CPM to go away. Firstly, because the Shingur issue, but also because CPM is in general evil. So let's have that as well right now. Let's have Mamata Banerjee now because in general communism is bad.
Look, that is the thing. I am pretty fed up with discussing protest because same ही है. Someone goes batshit and then the people who were initially batshit realizes कि ये तो हमसे भी ज़्यादा गुस्सा हो गया है, तब उसका कुछ करते हैं. But I was okay. So just look at the numbers.
Son, I have two follow-up questions by the way.
year increase. ठीक है ना?
Yes, finish your point. I have two follow-up queries for you.
Go on.
My first question is that that
So
issue of the unlimited attempts. Okay, you finish. You go on.
No, you ask.
Okay, so that unlimited attempts issue. My question is now somebody did clarify that it's not really a big issue because it's just 5 years and everybody gives within 5 years anyway. What I was wondering is why shouldn't we have unlimited attempts? Because mainly I'm very uneducated on this issue. I'm wondering, do we not have the resources for that? Because we are a poor country. That's why we can't have unlimited attempts.
In terms of need?
Yeah.
No, in terms of need, the unlimited is, the limited is pretty unlimited in terms of need at least, People can appear for NEET by the time they are even 27 or 28. I'm not joking.
Yeah, why is that wrong? Does that affect a doctor's career or his skills, or simply we do not have the resources to pay?
Look, now there are two perspectives. First, to एक individual की क्या हालत होगी उसके बाद. Secondly, if you are allowing them, look at how significantly the total number of aspirant rises. Okay? So if a person is appearing for 2 years, he is an add-on to the new group of people who are actually appearing for the exam first time. And do you know the funny part? In certain competitive exams, the rule is that if 2 people get the exact same marks, the one who has had more number of attempts get the seat. So यहाँ पे भी, that's a legit rule. मतलब the person who studied once and got the seat and is more meritorious does not deserve the seat because some other guy did bhang postra for 4 or 5 years and uske career ka kya hoga, so we are going to give that seat to him. Now he will go for the medical course, which is a 5-year course, और वो 8 साल में खत्म करेंगे या फिर 5 साल में उनको डिग्री दे दी जाएगी जहाँ पे 5 साल का चीज वो पढ़ नहीं पाएंगे क्योंकि उनको तो टेक्निकली 9 साल का टाइम लगना चाहिए था. एंड देन दे विल बी एन अनप्रिपेयर्ड डॉक्टर एंड ईदर ही विल हैंग अप और फिर हम पूछेंगे कि क्या गलत है एजुकेशन सिस्टम के साथ, लोग क्यों सुसाइड कर रहे हैं. व्हाट डू यू थिंक हैपेंस? दिस इज माय जेन्युइन क्वेश्चन बिकॉज I am a dropper. All right. Well, one can argue that I am not a dropper for my +2. But I have dropped at the undergraduate level in the sense that for one of the undergraduate exams, I have taken a drop. Okay? So something that you appear for after you are in college. My point is, if you are not sincere enough that you can crack a competitive exam, which is the entry point in the natural framework of time, how the hell are you going to cope up with the curriculum of the actual institution, which is much larger and much more complex in that span of the course? You cannot. So don't ask me why suicides are happening every single day. It's very obvious. भाई इसमें तुम रिजर्वेशन को भी हटा दो. I am not going into that argument कि कौन meritorious है, कौन कम meritorious है, किसको कम marks पे admission मिल गया. The simple point is, if a person is a dropper, that means he was not sharp enough, and I am not going to say that he was not inherently intelligent or whatever. जो sum total है, the sum total neuron, which is contributed by all of the factors like your hard work, your inherent intelligence, and whatever, and the resources you have that you hoarded to get the best tuition at quota, उन सबको मिला के if you are not able to crack the curriculum of the entry point of the entire trajectory of the course.
So, do we have data? Do we have data on what's the percentage of these repeat attempts? What percentage of the total aspirants are repeat aspirants? Do we know that?
In terms of NEET, I am pretty sure it has to be above 50%. Okay. In terms of the competitive exams which happen at the undergraduate level, it is much higher. Simply because वहाँ पे तो you can keep giving it year by year. In terms of state exams, it is even higher, which basically means something for, let's say, police recruitment or something. Nobody believes that they are going to crack it in one attempt. Na? So it is fixed that you are going to give at least 2 to 3 attempts. The only organization who has actually capped this is IIT JEE. And they did not have capped it because no stupid fucker in this world would sit for IIT JEE more than twice. First बार में ही उनको औकात पता लग जाती है. I guess they can give one more attempt. वहाँ पे नहीं होता तो people are frustrated enough to leave it as it is. And they have capped it at 2 attempts. And I guess WebG has capped it at 2 attempts. Now probably they have removed it. In our time it was 2 attempts, so it doesn't really matter. Because West Bengal, as it is, do not get seats. Yeah.
So our unemployment numbers are completely therefore fake, are made up, artificial at least, not fake, artificial.
Yeah. It's not a problem, and I guess it is evidently clear now. It is not a problem of unemployment. It is a problem of unemployability. Look, if your standards of education is कि आप division कर सकते हो and उसके बाद the state feels you should not even track anything, then even when we increase the level in terms of your graduate attributes, वो भी कुछ खास होंगे नहीं.
Yeah. I have another question for you.
Taken extremely seriously in every country. In India, we do not have a discussion about it.
Yeah. The other question is on the digitization issue. Is that doable or actually not doable? Are the states right or the center right on this? Or that commission, Radhakrishnan committee? Who are right?
You have to do it. You have to do it. And it was not something the center said. Center ko bhi padi nahi thi.
No.
It was a completely independent commission by this ISRO chairman guy who said ki karna padega. And there is a tangible benefit to it. There is a very tangible benefit because when the exam is digital, that is the only place where you can have any means of, by any chance, verifying ki this guy is totally genuine or not at all. वहाँ पे you have one offline record जहाँ पे the student does the rough work. And then they have taken the answers which they have chosen. So if there is some genuine severe discrepancy, जहाँ पे एक student को suppose पूरा ही exam का question answer सब कुछ पता है, and उसको rough work करने की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ी, he basically went on ticking. There you can find out. Now that level of infrastructure you cannot have when the exam is a written exam. ठीक है? Means if it is subjective exam जहाँ पे बड़े questions है, वहाँ पे you cannot do that. Because if bade 15 mark ke questions get leaked, there is no chance you will ever find out ki kya hua. So it can only happen when it is an objective question paper, jahan you simply have to tick. If you simply have to tick, you have to do some form of rough work. So it has to be at least conceptual or partly mathematics or partly where you have to do some form of mathematics to reach not an exact answer maybe, but some form of, let's say, choice where you have to make based on something, some number or something. It can be conceptual as well. I'm not saying it cannot be conceptual. It can be very conceptual and there has to be no maths involved and yet can be tricky. That is there.
Okay.
But at least a large section of it has to be so that there are no huge flunking outliers. Yes, and this is another thing that I actually wanted to show. Now, and this I do not have it ready yet, but what I was doing was I was making another such ledger on basically the policy decisions taken by government, particularly by one of these previous versions of NEP, jahan pe they had actually banned the government school teachers and stuff from taking coaching outside the school system. Okay? So they made this rule jahan pe the government school teachers cannot teach in private tuitions. So there an entire industry of private tuitions propped up, which eventually at one of the stages gave birth to quota. Are you aware of this? The entire institution of quota, the entire system of quota was simply born because at one particular stage, the Indian state felt कि बच्चों पे बहुत pressure डाला जा रहा है, तो हम artificially level को नीचे खींच के ले आते हैं ताकि सब pass कर जाए. Eventually, nobody realized कि pass करना exam में was never the objective. The objective was कि they have to be capable of getting the job. तो they basically thought कि ये fail कर जा रहा है इसलिए ये suicide कर रहे हैं, and they brought the entire standard significantly low, which is why you will see all these things like JEE Main and NEET came up, because earlier it was IIT JEE. The other thing that was there previous to IIT JEE, मतलब जो IIT JEE के पहले देना पड़ता था, that was a very generic kind of state level, board level paper. So in fact, it was good that they actually raised the bar. क्योंकि जहाँ पे यू आर मैंडेटिंग कि इतना बार नहीं पढ़ाना है, वहां पे भी यू हैव नो वे टू फाइंड आउट कि हु शुड गेट द जॉब. So it is even less meritocratic. And it has even more problems because eventually then if you do not have the parameter to check if a person is more or less informed, वो distinction आपको nonetheless करना ही पड़ेगा, and then some private entity would come and say कि अच्छा हम ये ठेका ले रहे थे आपके बच्चे को ज्यादा काबिल बनाने का. पास तो कोई भी कर सकता है, काबिल होना जरूरी है. That is entirely how the industry of quota came up. And you see, when was the most significant modification of the education industry made, or the, let's say, the government education system made prior to the NEP 2020? It was in the early, let's say 2000s, वो 2004-5 के वक्त एक modification आया था, जहाँ पे some guy changed the entire system of the school books and everything. वहाँ all these weird civic things came up into your school texts. जहाँ पे they for some odd reason felt कि you should customize it according to the needs and grants of the students. So in different books, they were inserting different weird ideas. जहाँ पे there was some commie dinosaur who used to say weird stuff to make people more aware of the social status of their locality. Insane.
Okay, Strayan, my next question is on the tuition and digitization. Like, I'm wondering how exactly impossible is digitization really, bro? I mean, who does not have a smartphone in the remotest? I mean, we are talking about again the dirtest poor ST. The tribal who does not know what a radio is today. Other than that, where is in fact a problem of internet connectivity? And no, my bigger question is, if they do not have internet connectivity, they do not have tuitions, etc. तो भाई उसको डॉक्टर बोलने को किसने बोला है? तो if I complain, I want to be a guitarist sitting in a village in Jharkhand, and I demand now my electric guitar has to be paid for by the government. What is the argument going on? Is it completely undoable even? How can it be in this day and age?
It is a one-time thing, but in that 1 year, when you are going to invest all that amount into the infrastructure, your revenue expenditure would have to go down, and you will go crashing down in the elections, and you lose the elections because यहाँ पे भी तो हमको DA बढ़ाना है government employees का by 20%, whether or not they do their job. So it's the same cycle. So eventually जो करना होगा कि the center would have to announce one big time package जहाँ पे you have to build the infrastructure, वहाँ पे after that maintenance का दायित्व states को लेना पड़ेगा. That has to be the way. And eventually you are going to do it next year itself, ना? वो तो गवर्नमेंट ने दवा में आके अनाउंस कर दिया कि नीट 2027 तो डिजिटल में होगा. सो इन दिस नेक्स्ट 1 year यू आर गोइंग टू सी कैसे वो तो होता है.
Okay,
I also want to point it out.
Yeah, please finish the point. Yeah, please finish the point. I'll just go open my door because Max really needs to go to the garage and shout at some other dogs.
Yeah, sure.
Shit, he's making me go down.
Now, anything that is going on with this particular protest, theek hai, we can go to the specifics of it some other day. But do you know the political points that were being raised by the opposition in terms of amendments that need to be made? They basically said ki abolish NEET and go back to the previous system of jahan pe the states will have the mandate on who conducts the medical examinations and seat allotments and everything. And simply then they will have the leeway and the entire leverage to determine kya hoga reservation ka percentage. And then they will be feeding their vote bank for the next 2 years. Merit will completely go to the dogs. There too, eventually the students will be हाँ क्योंकि एक स्टेट में तो उनका होना नहीं है, उनको भी पता है, तो उनको फिर 15 स्टेट्स में भागना पड़ेगा. At some of the points, 2 of the exams in different states will be clashing. So that is that. What do you do?
Okay,
I'll once again repeat this point because it was an important point. The apparent solution that the opposition came up, except for protest and everything and compensation, was that abolish NEET, go back to the previous system of leaving it completely on the states. Do you realize the connotations of that? If the entire selection procedure is determined by the state, Kerala में 100% reservation, UP में 97% reservation. पूरा शोषित वंचित समाज एक ही बार में सुधर जाएगा देश का. करो वो. And that is why managing this protest are important. I am not saying कि कौन पिटा किसकी गांड फट गई, फट जाए भाई. I don't care at this point honestly. What were you expecting if you were going to the parliament? पिटना ही था तुम्हें, कुटना ही था.
For some reason, people genuinely believe that they would go to parliament without getting prevented or something, without getting beaten up. They would say yes, go inside the parliament and protest. क्या है?
तुम खुद का जीवन बचा नहीं पा रहे हो, तुम क्या किसी पेशेंट का जीवन बचाओगे? It did not strike you the moment you saw 4 of your lead organizations are not there in that protest. जिन्होंने तुम्हें जाने को कहा वही नहीं थे, and you still went. So I don't want to speak on that. The problem is, this is exactly what happens when you do not manage these things and you play 10D chess. A 10-year previous bygone stupid discourse comes back to the discussion. That is what happens. That is why these things should be controlled.
Guys, please send Mamta there. Mamta को वहाँ पे भेजने का कोई उपाय निकालो. Everything is handled. Soyan, I have another question on this topic, which is the tuition issue, the tuition excuse that tuition कहाँ गाँव का बच्चा ले पाएगा, अब क्या ही करे. भाई, why do people like the most legit and the most senior of academics, I think even Abhijit Banerjee said it, that the tuition is a huge factor, again, not family, cultural capital, etc. Just going to any random tuition from anybody is going to make sure he then becomes a scientist or a great doctor. What the fuck is going on?
No, look. Do you realize we have great engineers and great doctors because you have these tuitions? Please realize that if you don't.
Then for that tuition...
No, for God's sake, stop abusing these coaching institutes. Bhai, wo padha rahe hai. They are providing the content. This year...
Sorry, no. Then the argument from Abhijit Banerjee is that since those coaching institutes are not there in the villages, to tab kya kare?
They are in the villages. TW now has a branch in every single mofosshol and every goddamn place. Now that is different कि वहाँ पे जो पढ़ा रहे हैं, they are not as qualified as the ones who are teaching in the main branch of Kota. So that's the problem. Now again, that will happen everywhere.
It happens in everything.
That happens everywhere, in everything, in every possible thing that can be.
Ecosystem know-how, best practices is a thing.
Yeah, that hierarchy will seep into any system that you come up with. That is why the entire concept of free market exists. Ki jo best of the best, they will be at a certain place. Why will they be there? Because they have incentive to go there. तुम अपना भांग भोसरा कुछ भी करते जा रहे हो कि नहीं पढ़ा. This year, this goddamn year, 5 students from India brought gold medals in physics Olympiads internationally. 4 of them got, I believe, gold medals in chemistry. All of them were students of a particular coaching institution. I'm not saying which. But do you think if they were studying in some goddamn government school, जहाँ पे शिक्षा का स्तर इतना ऊंचा होता, they would have fetched that? Do you think if that was the Shiksha ka stud in a government school, everyone would have been able to cope up with that? So that is exactly the argument that, let's say, the economics stalwarts put up. Trying to enforce a weird sense of equality is the greatest injustice you can do upon somebody. जो बच्चा 4th क्लास पास नहीं कर रहा, उसको आप IIT स्टैंडर्ड्स एजुकेशन अगर स्कूल में प्रोवाइड करने लगे, और किस लिए करोगे? मजे के लिए? Then you are going to examine them on that also, ना? वहाँ पे तो वो पास कर नहीं पाएगा. Which is also why I wanted to discuss the privatizations of the ITIs, because I feel thankfully that is finally one good step that the government has taken, where the ITIs can actually be used or utilized for what they are meant to do.
Then, Shravan, my other question is: are you saying that good tuitions not existing in villages is completely a lie? That's completely a misrepresentation or a myth.
The good tuitions are not existing in villages. Why? Because the good teachers are also not existing in the government schools. Half the times the teachers of the government schools are eventually not putting us. Do you know, ये जो कहते हैं कि नहीं पढ़ा सकते, उसका क्या नियम है? That you cannot put up an advertisement board that you take private tuitions. तुम घर पे बुला के मदद के नाम पे 800 रुपए ले लोगे तो उसका कोई ट्रैक नहीं रहता.
Exactly, वो थोड़ी ट्रैकेबल है, वो एनफोर्सेबल होगा भी नहीं अगर वो बैन भी किया हो. Like in my college, in my department, in my journalism department, our professors used to say, if we get news that you are taking tuitions from any of our professors, we'll fire that professor and we'll give you 0. They used to say it, I mean, just as a threat. It was not actually an enforceable policy.
Most of our private schools where we read, every 2 months, some of our friends would turn out to be the fufa ka ladka or jetha ka ladki of some school teacher. So it's a family member helping them. It's not a tuition. You can always come up with that. और गांव में तो और भी रिश्तेदार होते हैं क्योंकि joint families.
Yeah.
करो फिर.
But our journalism professors actually followed through. But in my college, in a government college, the sociology department, the HOD used to say, you come to my tuitions, otherwise you won't understand anything and you won't pass. And he was not even being corrupt. It's just the environment of a government college in Kolkata, you know, it's very chaotic. There's no studying environment. It's not JU and Pressy. And then people genuinely go to that guy's tuition. And I genuinely know great sociologists who have come out of his tuition, who have then passed out. But that's just the system.
No, there's a difference over there. There's a difference in what happens or what transpires in schools and colleges. In colleges, you simply cannot complete the syllabus. Even if you go to that particular lecture every single day of the entire curricular, let's say, year, you still cannot complete the syllabus. Even in schools now, you cannot complete the syllabus. ऊपर से तुमको तो holistic development के लिए पढ़ाना है 8 subjects, जो कि होंगे आधे घंटे के, and then you expect the teachers to magically transport themselves from one part of the building to another part with no time. 5 मिनट का भी वक्त वहाँ पे जाया नहीं कर सकते. That's an unfair system.
And so on.
I have never understood what is the point of these art subjects. What holistic development is it causing me by knowing कि 1857 में ही revolt हुआ था? Do you realize how significantly the pressure on the subjects can be reduced if you fucking just remove the nonsensical dates from history and actually narrate the events as stories?
Dates of even random fucking incidents where Gandhiji went on one particular event in whose house, exactly on what date. What the fuck? Why can't we roughly remember? Yes, it was somewhere in the late 1850s when the revolt happened, maybe. I have another question.
Yeah, go on. A basic version of sociology or anthropology. Why can't we? I still don't know. That would develop some amount of critical thinking in them.
Yeah, and the basic anthropology that they do teach, even that's extremely boring as fuck. I hated anthropology in school. Oh, that random naked tribe. You don't know him, you don't know them, you don't know why you're studying them, but you're supposed to study them. Yeah. By the way, Shravan, that analogy that I drew, that if I want to be a great rock guitarist now, the government is supposed to pay for my guitar classes and my guitar as well, because I'm in a village. The only only band I've heard is Fossils, but I know that I must be listening to a lot of international bands as well, because there are better stuff there. Or maybe there are there, so I must know all my shit, but I'm not getting access to it. Not everybody around me knows which bands to follow, etc. Now, in that situation, is the government not taking these things seriously. You're not producing enough metal guitarists in the forests of Jharkhand because it doesn't have a budget, or because guitarists are not simply demanding it enough, or there is legitimately a law or a convention in India that says that doctors are simply more important for the society and therefore we will do it.
भाई एक तो गवर्नमेंट कुछ भी प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर रही. Government is not, no, that's the thing. Government is not producing everything. They are simply, what to say, stuffing 10,000 people in a gas chamber, and वहाँ पे whoever wins wins. So everything is being done by a student's willpower at the end of the day. Be very clear of that. Now आपके बाप का budget is helping that willpower strengthen, उसमें हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. That will always happen. That used to happen even 5,000 years ago during the Vedic period, जहाँ पे आपके बाप का अगर pottery का business था, आप भी वही करेंगे. That was always the same. I think it should be evidently clear now that nobody is manufacturing anything. The people who actually ace JEE Advanced and reach the IITs are destined to become something good, even if they do not get that infrastructure.
Yeah, that though is. Which is why engineers are there in every profession, because it takes so much rigor to become an engineer that it extrapolates to everything. Is it a coincidence that engineers are there in every profession today? Even like Saurav Ganguly is from St. Xavier's. Is that a coincidence? And on that happy note, as usual, we will end our live stream today. I thought I had another question, but I answered it in my head. Thanks, Ryan, for doing this beautiful research. Let's take it up on another separate podcast as well and go into more detail. If you want to add to it, then we will do it on some other day. My schedule, by the way, this week has been fucked up for a interesting reason. I'm getting offers for mutual settlement and stuff. That stuff is going on. That's why I got busy and all my schedule became chaos. Let's see what happens. Okay, thanks, Shravan. Thanks a lot. And we had a great discussion. Oh, yes, Shravan. We have one more point to get to. Thank God I remembered. These discussions, these are the discussions we are supposed to be having, right? And this data crunching is supposed to be what's going on in every youngster's YouTube channel. And we are busy defending or criticizing BJP. Imagine the waste of time of everybody, even people who hate BJP. You are not solving anything by criticizing BJP here, or you are not solving anything by defending BJP here. The real issue is somewhere else completely. Modi knows it, Amit Shah knows it, and they can or cannot do something about it, but everything depends on how much we want it to happen, obviously, ultimately.
See, eventually you have helped BJP by doing all this. First of all, no one is talking of the protest anymore. Secondly, now you have given them the essential, you have given that E20 is there. Then you have essentially given them the essential pre-election shock that they needed before UP and Punjab, because they were about to lose it because of complacency. Now they will not. I do not know who it is, and also I'm guaranteeing you Dharmendra Pradhan will not resign now. That is that Karo I'm guaranteeing you he will not resign now.
Only reason I'm wondering he might, because Modi probably
I know that.
And Instagram Live as well, he kind of said that we will take it more seriously. That more seriousness might mean that he's going away, because I think he said something to akin to we will take these things more seriously in our next cabinet meeting as well. So that probably means that he's going in the cabinet reshuffle, and maybe we will have Swapan Dasgupta there. Let's see.
Yeah,
if he gets if that happens, that would be
good.
great. Yeah, but RSS won't allow it. Maybe
it's good, but again, it will be a anything that happens in education will be a byproduct of what happens in other places. So, yeah.
But what even if Swapan Dasgupta goes there, it will probably be because he has been co-opted by RSS, or he will have some negotiations to do for RSS as well. Maybe that's possible, that Swapan Dasgupta just says, yes, you go on with your Ayurveda and IKS research, I'll do everything else that I know and I think is good.
Again, this is something I have said previously also, na? There is no problem with anybody researching on Ayurveda. There is no problem on anybody researching on Gomutra में कुछ medicinal properties है कि नहीं, हो सकते हैं ना? You never know. Do it. If they are doing it with camel piss, you do it with cow piss. At least pursue it with some amount of seriousness. बस उतना करो.
कोई स्ट्रक्चर, विजन, प्लान कुछ होगा तो बोलेगा भी नहीं, होगा है कि है भी नहीं, I guess. होगा है भी तो हमको पता भी नहीं है.
On one fine day, a gentleman proposed to me कि let's do something with the Vedic chants, क्योंकि उसमें देखते हैं हमारे brain के EEG का क्या changes आता है, उसको देख के करो. Perfectly valid. It's called music therapy in most other parts of the world. Here it is
Yeah.
Gayatri Mantra therapy, whatever it is.
Yeah.
करो, make
Yeah.
that structure and do it. There's no problem with it. Problem is कि तुम्हारा
Yeah.
तो सब कुछ predetermined है 5,000 साल पहले. अब तुम उसको बस रीएस्टेब्लिश कर रहे हो. So basically, unknowingly, they have actually crossed the calipers of Sanjeev Sanyal in what he did with INVS Cordemia. He
That
did
though,
it.
a lot of
He did it actually, but he did not know that the entire country has already been doing it much before him in every goddamn thing.
yeah. Yeah, there is a growing section in the right wing who thinks that even Sandeep Sanyal is not that much of a capable person, etc. Okay, there is a growing section. But what I'm thinking is, if one Rishi Muni from 5,000 years back knew that their intellectual descendants are claiming that everything has been done 5,000 years back, so we don't really need to do new stuff, bro. they would be slapped left and right by ब्रह्म तेज तब निकलता उस 5,000 साल बुढ़े से कि क्या
उसमें भी
सब हो गया, न्यू रिसर्च नहीं करेगा.
It was IIT Kharagpur who actually built up an entire, let's say, hall or laboratory which was dedicated to Indian knowledge system. कम से कम उन्होंने पैसे तो खर्च किए उसको एक्चुअली एक्सप्लोर करने के लिए. उतना तो कर दो भाई. And what do you know of what is real? I'll tell you something even more fun. The other day, this is the last piece of information I want to disseminate today. There is something called, it's a very technical thing, but there is something called Jacobian conjecture in linear algebra, which is basically something which is the very core of, let's say, machine learning, deep learning, AI, and everything. Since 87 years, people did not know if Jacobian conjecture is true or not. Nobody could disprove it. On this 19th of July, Jacobian conjecture got solved by Claude. Yes, a researcher at Anthropic basically backpropagated and established an exception to Jacobian conjecture, and it was disproved after 87 years. And now there is a whole new branch that has opened in the entire, a whole new dimension that has opened to the entire field. So what do you know कि क्या है क्या नहीं? I mean, ठीक है.
Yeah, সংকীর্ণ মনোভাবনা. See, both from atheists as well as the Dehat right wing, that both of them are set in their ways in this way that no, there can't be anything great in Hinduism, or there is already done. We don't need to inculcate anything new or come up with anything new, or even if we do new research, it's going to be based on the things that were claimed. The sole goal is to prove things that have been claimed by our spiritual texts and theological texts 5,000 years ago. That's the only goal. That's not how research went on. Hinduism or any religion is proto-science in some ways. Hinduism is the closest that comes to science. And they were doing science-ish things. And science-ish things does not mean forcibly proving things that people you like said 5,000 years ago. That's not the definition of Vigyan. What else is the difference between Gyan and Vigyan? Okay then, thanks a lot, Sroyan. We had a great discussion, fruitful discussion. Thanks a lot, guys, for coming on the live chat. And I think thanks a lot for pestering me to do this in the end. These things needed to be said, but I rather wished I would not have to. I don't know when, but well, let's ask for final predictions from everybody. Where do you think the protest is going? I guess it's all over now, since Sonam also broke his fast. It's all done, right? The worst is over. That's what I was thinking, that people are protesting, they are angry, you're getting lathi charge. It's the end of the story. What else is there to even observe here? People were pretending like it's something significant, it's a sea change that's about to happen.
There are no elections around till another year. This was the best time when they wanted the wars to happen and get happened. Because eventually everyone gets bored with violence. ठीक है ना? They get tired with violence. तुम एक हफ्ता खींच के, you can see negativity on your TV screens all throughout the day. After that, you want to move away from it. And वहाँ पे if something gets tabled in the parliament, how do you stop it? You cannot stop it. तो फिर और protest करने के लिए जाएगा भी, no one cares.
Let's see. Thanks, Ron. Thanks, guys. Good night. See you all soon. Bye-bye.
ga re sa ni sa ga re ga ma ga re ga re sa ni sa re ga ma ga re sa ni sa pa ma ga ma pa ni sa ga re sa ni pa ni sa ni pa ma ga ma pa ni sa ma ga re sa ni pa ma ga ma pa ni sa ni pa ni sa ni pa ga re sa ni sa ga re ga ma ga re sa